Chapter 211, Yun Chuzhou, do not care. Yun Chuzhou sneered mockingly. Marry him? Do you think that the identity of a gigolo is simple? An Feng and an Yin kept saying, Your Majesty and, your Qingxian continent. Obviously, the three of them are not from Qingxian continent. Perhaps, they're from the continent after the ascendance of a mighty figure. Putting aside the fact that our identities are so different, if I really liked someone, I wouldn't be afraid of some bullshit identity. Most importantly, do you think that the gigolo really likes me? The silver dragon was still confused. I think the gigolo treats you quite well, master. He gave you spirit stones and a ring. Yun Chuzhou sighed. Little flame, you're so naive. Do you think that giving me something is love? I admit that the gigolo may have a good impression of me, but that was just curiosity and fun. It's like playing with a kitten or a puppy. If I go along with him, he will give me things. Once I do something that goes against his will, he'll turn against me. Do you think true love is like that? Between us, he's more like a master, while I'm more like a servant girl. It's possible that it'll still be a servant girl who warms his bed in the future. Ha! An Feng once said that the gigolo would take me as his concubine in the future. Concubine? This is simply a joke. How can I, Yun Chuzhou, become the exclusive property and plaything of a gigolo? I, Yun Chuzhou, don't care about a man who is shared with others. When Yun Chuzhou said this, her mood dimmed. The pretty boy is so good-looking. I'm more or less tempted, but love is something that can't be easily ventured into. If it's not done right, it'll burn you to the ground. I want to be able to cross 100 flowers and not touch a single leaf. Moreover, I'm still young. My task now is to work hard to become stronger and bring the two of you to the peak of life. Life as a bird, and life as a stick. Although Yun Chuzhou said it in a free and easy manner, she still felt a little stifled in her heart, so she decided to go to the pill refining room to refine pills. Yun Chuzhou found old Huang and went to a few more classes. After greeting Yun Chuzi, she carried a big sack on her back and rushed to the pill refining room valiantly. When Manager Gao saw Yun Chuzhou coming over, his heart started beating faster. Why was this little ancestor there again? The poisonous smoke last time had caused them a lot of trouble. Manager Gao thought for a moment and gave Yun Chuzhou the jade token for alchemy room number 28. Since alchemy room number 28 was at the edge, even if there was poisonous smoke, it would not affect the rooms toward the inside. Yun Chuzhou entered alchemy room number 28 and immediately opened the isolation array. Then, she began to refine the second-grade medicinal pill, hemostasis pill. The pill was slightly more effective than the previous ones. The medicinal herbs required were also slightly higher in grade. With the help of her spiritual sense, Yun Chuzhou produced 10 super-grade hemostasis pills in the first batch. The strange grass in her dantian smelled the fragrance and immediately clamored to eat. Yun Chuzhou was not in the mood to deal with it and instantly swallowed all 10 pills. After a while, the little black bird suddenly flew to Yun Chuzhou's shoulder and rubbed against it repeatedly. Master! Master! The fragrance on your body is too good. Yun Chuzhou pulled the little black bird away. Get lost! Can't you see that I'm busy? I didn't put on any fragrant powder, so where would the fragrance come from? Little flame, do you smell it? The rolling stick shook. No. I only smell the medicinal pill. Little Black glared at it with its possessed eyes and shouted, That's because your nose isn't working. There's clearly a very fragrant smell. Yun Chuzhou thought Little Black was deliberately causing trouble, so she ignored it and continued to refine the blood coagulation pill. Little Black flapped its short wings angrily and flew to the side. There's obviously a very nice smell. Why didn't Master believe me? Chapter 212, The Spirit Bee went crazy. Yun Chuzhou refined day and night, refining all the herbs that Feng Ming had brought for her into medicinal pills. Since there were so many of them, this fellow used a useless things to fill the pill. The rolling pin and Little Black were dumbfounded. From ancient times until now, only their unruly master dared to use pointless materials to fill the pill. As usual, Yun Chuzhou packed a bunch of miscellaneous things into the pill refining furnace, causing thick smoke to billow out. Only then did she withdraw the isolation array and rush out from the pill refining room with a sack of cabbages used as a cover. Cough. 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 It's that damn Yun Chuzhou again. I'm choking to death. Cough. 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 I must report this to Elder Qi and forbid this Tan girl from coming to the alchemy room in the future. Achoo. Achoo. This Yun Chuzhou is really full of bad ideas. She clearly doesn't know how to refine pills, yet she has to come here to cause trouble. It's too detestable. Yun Chuzhia's mood inexplicably became a little better. She hummed a little tune as she went to Manager Gao and returned the jade token to him. Then, she said with a smile, "They'll come back in a few days. This time, I brought a little less medicinal herbs. Next time, they'll bring more." Manager Gao was about to cry. How is this less? If you brought more, this alchemy room would not be able to serve other people. Yun Chuzhou carried the sack on her back and left the alchemy room. She did not sleep the whole night, but did not feel tired at all. Instead, she felt very energetic. Not long after she walked out, she heard a buzzing sound. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Yun Chuzhou frowned. What was that sound? Master, master. Run. Little Black cried out in alarm. Yun Chuzhou was shocked. What's wrong? Little Black pointed to the west and saw a large group of spiritual bees flying toward Wu Yun like a big cloud. Yun Chuzhou pursed her lips. These spiritual bees must be going to some mountain to gather honey. What does it have to do with us? Before Yun Chuzhou could finish her sentence, the spiritual bees at the front were flying toward her. Yun Chuzhou was so scared that she cried out. She did not want question anymore and started to run away. Little Black, what's going on? Why are these damn spiritual bees attacking me? Master, I think it has something to do with the fragrance on your body. Master, why don't I set fire to them? No. There are so many of them. Before you finish burning them, I'd be stung and turned into a nest already. Yun Chuzhou said as she ran. Master, what should we do? These spiritual bees are very poisonous. If we get stung too many times, we'll lose our lives. Yun Chuzhou rolled her eyes. She put the Little Black into her spirit beast pouch and quickly ran toward the pill refining room. This fellow shouted as she ran, "Help! Help! The spirit bees have gone crazy." The two disciples guarding the door were shocked. They saw a large group of spirit bees chasing after Yun Chuzhou. What was going on? Although the spirit bees had a certain degree of offensive power, these spirit bees of the Spirit Radiance sect were all domesticated and rarely attacked disciples. Why did such a large group of them suddenly attack Yun Chuzhou? While the two disciples were still in a daze, Yun Chuzhou rushed over like a small whirlwind. As she ran, she shouted, "Run! The spirit bees are crazy." The two disciples did not dare to be negligent and quickly followed Yun Chuzhou into the house. Then, they closed the door tightly. The spirit bees seemed to be risking their lives as they desperately crashed into the doors and windows. It seemed that they would not stop until they came in. Yun Chuzhou kept patting her chest. Oh my God! I was scared to death. I was so scared to death. Why are these spirit bees going crazy? The people in the alchemy room also ran over when they heard the noise. They were all dumbfounded. Manager Gao said in surprise, "These spirit bees are three-colored butterfly-winged bees. They would have been raised by servants. Why are they attacking cultivators for no reason? It's really strange. Chapter 213, The demon beasts also went crazy. Yun Chujio said innocently, yeah, it's really strange. Luckily I ran fast, or I would have died. Manager Gao frowned and took out a few porcelain bottles from his storage bag. Then, he turned around and said to the workers, the inside of the porcelain bottles is an insect-repellent powder. Crack the window ajar and sprinkle the powder out. The workers carefully threw the insect-repellent powder out. The spirit bees reluctantly retreated a distance, but they were still unwilling to leave. Just when everyone was puzzled, a disciple exclaimed, "Look! Heavens! Could it be that the demon beasts are also rebelling?" Everyone looked in the direction that the disciple pointed at and gasped. They saw some low-level demon beasts, such as the wind-blade rabbit, red-feathered chicken, and gale deer, which originally lived in the back of the mountain, rushing toward the alchemy room. Seeing that the situation was getting serious, Manager Gao quickly activated the protective array of the pill refining room and ran to get Elder Qi. Manager Gao did not walk far before he met Elder Qi. Elder Qi's face was gloomy. "Why did you activate the protective array? What happened?" "Elder Qi, the situation is very strange. First, a large group of spirit bees attacked Yun Chujio for no reason, and now a large group of demon beasts are rushing toward our pill refining room. Could it be that a disciple has refined beast guiding powder?" Elder Qi frowned. "I've never heard of anyone refining beast guiding powder. Moreover, the back mountain is still quite a distance away from here. Even beast guiding powder doesn't have such great power." Manager Gao said in puzzlement. "Could it be that a beast tide is going to erupt?" Elder Qi's expression was solemn. If a beast tide really erupted ahead of time, it would be a major matter that concerned all the living beings in the world. When Elder Qi arrived at the forefront of things, he discovered that those low-level demonic beasts were like moths fluttering to the flame, desperately striking the array formation. Even if they were injured, they would not stop. Elder Qi was very puzzled. Something was not right. Even if it was a beast tide, these demonic beasts would not be so crazy. What exactly was going on? What everyone did not know was that at the same time, in the spirit beast garden on the western peak, all the demonic beasts began to become restless, constantly striking the array formation. If the array formation was not firm, those demonic beasts would definitely charge out. The beasts at the other 5 peaks and the spirit bees in the herb garden were also rapidly heading toward the pill refining room. The disciples of the Sprit Radiance sect were all dumbstruck. What was going on? Weren't these low-level demon beasts very timid? Why did they all run out from the back of the mountain? After receiving the report, Master Xianyuan and the other peak masters quickly arrived outside the pill refining room at Middle Peak. The spiritual bees and demonic beasts were afraid of their high level of spiritual power, so they did not attack them. Instead, they kept attacking the protective array of the pill refining room. After forcing back a portion of the demonic beasts, Master Xianyuan and the other peak masters entered the pill refining room and began to ask Elder Qi about the situation. Seeing that the situation was getting worse, Yun Chujio felt a little uneasy. Seeing that no one was paying attention to her, she sneaked to a corner and began to look inside her dantian. When Yun Chujio saw the situation inside her dantian, she was so angry that she wanted to bang her head against the wall. She saw that the leaves of the weird grass were like a human's finger, continuously pulling and pulling. It was very likely that those demonic beasts were attracted by it. The grass noticed Yun Chujio's spiritual sense and shook it proudly, showing off a little. "You better stop right now. Otherwise, don't even think about eating pills in the future." Yun Chujio was anxious and directly said with her spiritual sense. She thought that the weird grass did not understand, but she did not expect that the weird would really stop moving. Chapter 214, Elder Qi went crazy too. Yun Chujio was stunned. Did this damn grass really understand me? Yun Chujio used her spiritual sense to comfort it. Be good and listen to me. There are a lot of super-grade blood coagulation pills in my storage ring. They're all yours. In the future, I'll refine even higher grade pills. As long as you don't cause trouble, they're all yours. The weird grass waved its leaves a few times in a decent manner. It should mean that it agreed. Yun Chujia's heart felt as if 10,000 divine beasts were whizzing past it. Damn it, what exactly was growing in her dantian? How was this just grass? It was fucking smarter than a human. Yun Chujio retracted her spiritual sense and sneakily walked out from the corner. She heard a disciple shouting, "Huh! Those demonic beasts have stopped attacking the array formation. Yeah, look at those in the distance. They've turned around and ran back." Yun Chujio moved forward to take a look. She saw that those demonic beasts had a confused look on their faces. They seemed to not understand how they had ran all the way there. After looking at their surroundings, they all ran away. These demonic beasts came quickly and retreated even faster. In a short while, they had all disappeared without a trace. Master Xianyuan and the other peak masters were confused. What was going on? Everyone discussed for a while but could not find the reason. They could only send their disciples to the mountains to inspect if there was anything unusual. Yun Chujio saw that Master Xianyuan and the others had left. Just as she was about to sneak away, Elder Qi coughed and said, "Yun Chujio, come here. I have something to ask you." Yun Chujia's heart tightened. Could she have been discovered? Did she give herself away? Yun Chujio nervously followed Elder Qi into Manager Gao's house. Ding Lang and the others winked at each other with gloating expressions on their faces. They also followed in. Elder Qi did not stop them and allowed everyone to enter the house. "Yun Chujio, I heard that every time you refine pills, you would create a house full of poisonous smoke. What are you trying to do? Don't go to the pill refining room to cause trouble in the future." Ding Lang had often whispered in Elder Qi's ear, so not only did he say that Yun Chujio had wasted the resources of the pill refining room, he had even created the matter of the poisonous smoke to cause trouble. When Yun Chujio heard this, she immediately felt relieved. So it's this matter. Then it would be easy to handle. Elder Qi. You're being wronged. It's a 1,000-year-old injustice. Although I don't have spiritual power, I'm still a good child who has self-respect and ambition. I admire Elder Qi's achievements in refining pills very much. If we were to talk about who I admire the most in Spirit Radiance sect, it would be you, Elder Qi. An alchemist. What a sacred profession. I just wanted to give it a try. What if I succeed? I didn't expect that someone would maliciously slander me. I've only burned the herbs. Do you need to slander me for making poisonous smoke? If it's poisonous smoke, why is everyone alive and kicking? Not a single one of them died. Ding Lang and the others by the side nearly vomited blood from anger. It turned out that only their deaths could prove that she had made poisonous smoke. Elder Qi was not too upset. Firstly, Yun Chujia's words were very agreeable to him, and secondly, he had always liked hard-working disciples. He pondered for a moment. Haste makes waste. Since you like refining pills so much, you can use your free time to help me take care of my spirit herb garden. Ding Lang and the others simply could not believe their ears. What? Not only did he not punish Yun Chujio, he actually asked her to help take care of the spirit herb garden. Elder Qi's herb garden grew high-grade spirit herbs, and Elder Qi had always taken care of it himself. Even personal disciples like Ding Lang were not allowed to enter and leave as they pleased. Who would have thought that Yun Chujio, this trash, would actually help take care of it? Could it be that Elder Qi, like those demonic beasts, had gone crazy? Chapter 215, Fatten Pigs. Of course, Elder Qi was not crazy. He remembered that during the lecture previously, even though Yun Chujio was not paying attention, her answers to the questions were very accurate. He planned to take the opportunity to observe and see what was going on. Yun Chujio did not expect that Elder Qi would actually make such a request. After thinking about it, she happily agreed. Firstly, she could get close to Elder Qi and see if she could catch Ding Lang. Secondly, she could learn more about medicinal herbs. There was a difference between what was recorded on the jade slip and what was actually done. Yun Chujio originally wanted to follow Elder Qi directly to the spirit herb garden. However, when she thought of the sacks that she had thrown away in a panic, she decided that it would be better to pick them up first. It was not that she felt sorry for the sacks of cabbage, but she was afraid that they would be exposed. After greeting Elder Qi, Yun Chujio hopped out of the pill refining room. When she arrived at the place where the sacks were thrown away, Yun Chujio was overjoyed. When the large group of demon beasts left just now, they coincidentally tore the sacks into pieces. The cabbage inside had long been eaten up by the wind blade rabbits and the likes. There were only some fragments of the sacks on the ground. Yun Chujio pulled the sacks of fragments together and put them into her storage ring, then went to look for Elder Huang. When Elder Huang heard that Elder Qi asked Yun Chujio to help take care of the herb garden, he was instantly overjoyed. Without waiting for Yun Chujio to say anything, he took the initiative and said, "You don't have to worry about the big kitchen. Just go to Elder Qi's place. If you perform well, Elder Qi might be able to cure your problem of not being able to cultivate." "Thank you, Elder Huang. I'll definitely do a good job. I won't let you lose face." Yun Chujio then thought to herself, "I can cultivate even without his treatment." Elder Huang could not help but nod his head. He then specially instructed, "I heard that Elder Qi's spirit herb garden is filled with high-grade herbs. Every single one of them is expensive. You must be careful and not cause any trouble." "Elder Huang, don't worry. I'm the most obedient. How could I possibly cause any trouble?" Yun Chujio said with a smile. "That's good. That's good." The two of them chatted for a while more before Yun Chujio bade farewell and returned to her own courtyard. Yun Chujio was very depressed. She felt that there were traces of the gigolo everywhere. He had sat on the stone bench before, and he had also used this stone table before. There were also memories of the gigolo everywhere in the house. Yun Chujio walked around the house in frustration. She recited a few times that empty space was lust, and death was emptiness. Then, she sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate. The grass in her dantian kept releasing the power of lightning. Yun Chujio used it for herself after cultivating. This way, her cultivation speed would be much faster. Yun Chujio felt that she would be able to break through again very soon. However, Yun Chujio always felt that she was a pig and was being fattened by someone. When she was fat enough, she would be slaughtered for the new year. Therefore, she desperately wanted to become stronger. Only by becoming stronger did she have the possibility of controlling her fate. Early the next morning, Yun Chujio hopped into the alchemy room. Manager Gao's head hurt when he saw Yun Chujio. He always felt that this little ancestor would stir up some trouble whenever she came. Although the demon beast riot the day before was not conclusive, he somehow felt that it was related to this little girl. Manager Gao felt that he was thinking too much. She was just a little girl without spirit energy. He must be thinking too much. "Good morning, Manager Gao. Are you too happy to see me? We can see each other more often in the future." "Ha ha ha." The corner of Manager Gao's mouth twitched. "I'll take you to see Elder Qi." The two of them passed through the alchemy room and walked some distance before they saw a thatched cottage. Yun Chujio curled her lips. This Elder Qi was too stingy. Did he not say that alchemists were the richest? Why did he have such dilapidated accommodation? Chapter 216, I want to eat grass. Yun Chujio quickly realized that she had made a huge mistake. After entering, she realized that there was an illusion array set up, and there was another world inside. Other than Elder Chi's own courtyard, there was a large spiritual herb garden behind. The outer area was planted with some low-grade profound rank herbs, and the small courtyard in the middle was the spiritual herb garden. The herbs planted inside were all above middle-grade black category herbs, and there was no lack of earth-grade herbs among them. Manager Gao sent him off and turned to leave. Elder Chi threw a jade slip to Yun Chuzhou. Memorize the contents first, then he'll come find you. After saying that, Elder Chi went into the house. He thought to himself, this jade slip recorded 100 volumes of medicinal herbs. The black girl would need at least a few days to memorize them, which would just dampen her spirit. An hour later, Yun Chuzhou stood outside the house and shouted, Elder Chi. Elder Chi. I've memorized them. Elder Chi walked out with a frown. Nonsense. It's only been an hour, what can you remember? Yun Chuzhou blinked her eyes. But, I've really memorized them all. Good. Good. Then he'll test you. If you lied to me, you're not allowed to come again in the future. Elder Chi felt that Yun Chuzhou must be lying, and he was very displeased. Yun Chuzhou straightened her small body and looked very confident. Elder Chi became even angrier when he saw her. He asked, what is the companion beast of the Daphne sericea? The gold-hooped short-tailed snake. How many petals does the red peony have? 16 petals below 100 years old, and 2 more petals every 100 years. What is the companion beast of the Corydalus yenhusuo? To be precise, it should be called a companion insect. It's a scarlet bee flying ant. Elder Chi asked more than 20 questions in one breath, and Yun Chuzhou answered them all very accurately. Have you read this 100 volumes of medicinal herbs before? Elder Chi asked suspiciously. Elder Chi, to be honest, although my aptitude is a little useless, I can remember everything I see and hear. Yun Chuzhou said with a smile. She had her own thoughts, if I didn't show any unusual abilities, Elder Chi might not be able to keep me. I'd better show a snippet. Sure enough, Elder Chi sized up Yun Chuzhou in surprise and said with a sigh, it seems that the saying is good. The heavens won't starve a blind sparrow to death. Your ability is really strange. The corner of Yun Chuzhou's eyes twitched. Why did she feel that this metaphor made things awkward? Alright, since you've remembered it, he'll take you to the spirit herb garden. He'll explain some things to you on the spot. Elder Chi loved talent and he felt that Yun Chuzhou's ability was indeed rare. Although she did not have spiritual power, she could still be a little medicine girl if she had the ability. Just as they entered the outer perimeter of the spirit herb garden, the strange grass in Yun Chuzhou's dantian was clamoring to pounce on those medicinal herbs. Yun Chuzhou was so angry that she used her spiritual sense to curse, you better fucking stop. There'll be plenty of opportunities in the future. Only then did the strange grass in her dantian stop a little, but it faintly revealed a displeased expression. Strange grass. Yun Chuzhou was puzzled. Although that strange grass could not speak, she could faintly sense some of its emotions. The level of the medicinal herbs in the outer area isn't too high. You only need to take care of them according to the 100 volumes of medicinal herbs. I have carefully gathered all the medicinal herbs in the spirit herb garden. You must take care of them according to the method I taught you. You must not act on your own initiative. If anything goes wrong, I won't forgive you. Elder Chi said very seriously. At this moment, Yun Chuzhou was about to go crazy from the strange grass torture in her dantian. The emotions that she had just suppressed began to churn again. She wanted nothing more than to pounce on those high-level herbs and take a few bites. Chapter 217, The Thief Who Stole the Spirit Herbs. Yun Chuzhou cursed angrily, listen strange grass, if you continue to show off, it'll cut open my stomach right now. I don't believe that if I throw away my dantian, I still won't be able to get rid of you. The strange grass was stunned for a moment, then its 2 leaves drooped down and finally stopped. Elder Qi saw Yun Chujia's small face and thought that she was afraid, thus, he comforted her. As long as you strictly follow my instructions, I won't mistreat you. Although you don't have spiritual power, you can still live for a few more decades by taking some life-extending pills. Yun Chujio came back to her senses and laughed dryly. Elder Qi, I'll definitely take good care of these herbs. Don't worry. Elder Qi nodded and gave her a few more instructions. He handed Yun Chujio a jade token before leaving. After Elder Qi left, the strange grass in her dantian started to act up again. It kept shouting that it wanted to eat those high-grade herbs. Yun Chujio sneakily looked around before walking to the most plentiful herb. She carefully tore off a leaf and wolfed it down. The grass in her dantian happily held the leaf and chewed it. This is the only time. It won't happen again. Elder Qi knows the number of spirit herbs in this spirit herb garden, Yun Chujio said as her eyes lit up. There were a few high-grade herbs in the spirit herb garden, but there were no low-grade black-grade herbs in the outer area. There were herbs in there that could be used to refine spirit-gathering pills. She might as well secretly put some into her storage ring every day. Then, when she reached the 5th level of spirit enhancement, she could refine spirit-gathering pills. It just so happened that she could help 4th brother and the others with their cultivation. Thus, Yun Chujio secretly picked a few herbs every day and hid them in her storage ring. She knew very well that she could not just pick 1 leaf, so she picked 2 leaves and 1 flower. In addition, Elder Qi did not pay much attention to these outer area spirit herbs. A month had passed and Yun Chujia's storage ring had already accumulated nearly 2 sacks of herbs. In order to prevent the strange grass in her dantian from causing trouble, Yun Chujio would swallow a bunch of super-grade blood coagulation pills before going to the herb garden. After the strange grass was full, its reaction would be less intense when it saw high-grade herbs again. On this day, Yun Chujio had just arrived at Elder Qi's courtyard. His expression was solemn as he instructed Yun Chujio, the earth-grade, high-quality golden thread grass fruit in the spirit herb garden will ripen today. I have urgent matters to attend to, otherwise, would personally take care of this. You must guard it at all times. Once the fruit turns from red to purple, immediately put it into this jade box. Yun Chujio nodded. Elder Qi, don't worry. I'll guard it at all times. Elder Qi reminded her a few more times before he left in a hurry. Yun Chujio did not dare to be negligent. She took out a few pills from her storage ring and swallowed them to prevent the strange grass from causing trouble. Only then did she enter the spirit herb garden and find the golden thread grass. She sat on the ground and stared intently at its fruit. Seeing that the red fruit was slowly turning purple, Yun Chujio took out the jade box. Just as she was about to put the fruit into the jade box, the fruit mysteriously disappeared. Yun Chujio was stunned. What was going on? Hey! Which shameless person stole the fruit? What kind of brave soul is hiding himself? If you have the ability to do this, get out here. Yun Chujio was trying her best to do her job. No thief would take the initiative to show up. Unexpectedly, after Yun Chujio shouted, a deep and seductive voice said, "You're quite brave. No wonder the immortal item recognized you as its master." Chapter 218, The Devil in Red. Yun Chujio was shocked and quickly took a few steps back. Then, she saw 2 people appear out of thin air in front of her. Although they were 2 people, Yun Chujio's gaze was absolutely attracted to one of the men in red. Although the man was dressed in red, he did not seem out of place at all. On the contrary, there was a hint of charm mixed in his handsomeness. His long ink-colored hair was casually scattered behind his back, and he was playing with a skull in his hand. Although he was doing such a terrifying thing, it made people feel that it was pleasing to the eye. The man behind him was dressed in black, and he was holding a jade box in his hand. It was obvious that the fruit had been plucked by him. Although Yun Chujio pretended to be obsessed with the man's beauty, she quickly evaluated her moves in her heart. She was really stupid. Why was she shouting? She should have turned around and run away just now. It was obvious that these two people were not to be trifled with. They seemed to be on par with the gigolo and the others. They probably used a concealment talisman just now. How was she going to escape now? They would not kill her to silence her, would they? She did not know if this stupid lightning strike of hers would be effective. Moreover, that red-clothed evildoer said something about an immortal tool recognizing its owner. Did he recognize the rolling pin? Could it be that he wanted to commit murder and snatch the pin away? My two lords, do you need any other spirit herbs? Let me introduce them to you. I'm very familiar with this place. In a while, our elder Qi will be back, so you must hurry up. Yun Chujio said with a smile. It was as if the person who had just said those harsh words was not her. The red-robed man was stunned for a moment, and then he smiled wickedly. Interesting, interesting. There are really not many people who dare to play tricks with me. I didn't expect that a little beauty like you would have such guts. My lord, you flatter me. How can I be considered a beauty? I'm just a servant guarding the herb garden. If you need any spirit herbs, I'll pick them for you right away. The corner of Yun Chujio's eyes twitched. Could it be that this red-robed evildoer had bad eyes? He actually called her a little beauty. The red-robed man laughed in a low voice. Of course you're a beauty. Those ordinary people can only see the appearance. Only I can see the essence through the skin. Your skull is very perfect and you'll definitely be a great beauty in the future. However, I think bones without flesh and blood are more beautiful. Come, I'll help you right now. The expression on the man in red suddenly changed as he reached out his right hand to grab Yun Chujio. Although Yun Chujio kept talking to the man in red, she was always on guard. Although his actions was very sudden, Yun Chujio forcefully jumped to the side. Little beauty. I didn't expect you to be so agile. It's useless. Your skull is going to be mine today. The man in red waved his hand. Yun Chujio sadly realized that she could not move, just like how she was restrained by the gigolo back then. The man in red slowly walked in front of Yun Chujio. He reached out his right hand and caressed Yun Chujio's face. TSK, this skin and flesh is really rough. If you remove them, the skull inside will definitely be perfect. Little beauty, on account of your beauty, it'll allow you to choose a way to die. Do you want me to use poison to corrode your skin and flesh, or do you want me to cut off your head with a sword? I can choose any way to die. Are you a man of your word? Yun Chujio asked in a trembling voice. Of course. I'm a man of my word. Little beauty, how do you want to die? The man in red crushed the skull in his hand and stared at Yun Chujio's head with great interest. Yun Chujio forced a sentence from her mouth. I want to die of old age. Chapter 219, The Pervert in Red. The man in red was stunned for a moment before he laughed out loud. Die of old age? Creative. As expected of the skull that I took a fancy to. You want to die of old age? It's very easy. I have the aging pill here. As long as you take it, you'll become an old woman in 15 minutes. As the man in red spoke, he took out a pill from his storage ring and stuffed it into Yun Chujio's mouth. Yun Chujio obediently took the pill and her little face scrunched up. My lord, I've already taken the pill. Can you release me from my confinement? This is my only wish before I die. The man in red waved his hand. I'll satisfy you. I've always been very generous to beauties I like. Yun Chujio moved her limbs and sure enough, there were no obstructions. She secretly communicated with Little Black with her consciousness and then ran away. The man in red was stunned. Just as he was about to chase after her, he suddenly stumbled and almost fell. When he stood up, Yun Chujio had already ran more than 1,000 feet away. You dare to lie to me? You're really courting death. I'll cut you into pieces. The man in red curled the corner of his mouth and formed a seal with his hands. He threw several huge wind blades at Yun Chujio. Just as those enormous wind blades were about to slash onto Yun Chujio's body, the jade pendant in Yun Chujio's hand emitted a dazzling light, forming a spiritual energy barrier that enveloped Yun Chujio. Those wind blades were unable to even go half a step near her. The red-clothed man was stunned. This little beauty had quite a number of treasures on her. Although he did not use his full strength, ordinary spiritual weapons were unable to block his attacks. Yun Chujio took this opportunity to run as fast as she could. As she ran, she shouted, "Someone! Help! There's a red-clothed pervert who wants to rob the spirit herb garden." Just as the man in red was about to chase after her, the black-clothed man behind him said respectfully, "Young master, don't chase after the enemy. Our spiritual power is limited in the Qingxian continent. If those elders rush over later, we'll be outnumbered and won't be able to take them on. Forget it. She can live for 3 days at most after taking the aging pill. Take it as the price for deceiving me. It's just a pity for that perfect skull. I originally planned to make a few of them just like that for me to play with. Since she wants to court death herself, then I can only blame her bad luck." The man in red smiled wickedly. Then, he took out a skull from his storage ring and played with it. "Young master, since you only planned to imitate the little girl's skull, why did you have to scare her? If you were to tell the truth, she wouldn't have run away," the black-clothed man asked in confusion. "Do I need to explain what I'm doing to you?" The smile on the red-clothed man's face instantly disappeared, and he stared at the black-clothed man gloomily. "Your subordinate is guilty." The black-dressed man took out a dagger from his storage bag and stabbed it into his abdomen. The red-dressed man waved his sleeve, and the black-dressed man's dagger fell to the ground. "This will not happen again." At that moment, the sound of footsteps could be heard, and the red-dressed man and the black-dressed man instantly disappeared from where they were. When Manager Gao came with a group of disciples, they did not see a single shadow. Ding Lang pursed his lips. "Yun Chujio, where's the red-clothed pervert? Could it be that you're playing a prank again?" Yun Chujio could not be bothered with him. She said to Manager Gao, "Manager Gao, Elder Qi isn't here, and those two people have great spiritual power. It's better to quickly report this to Peak Master. I'm afraid that they'll do something bad in Spirit Radiance sect." Manager Gao saw that Yun Chujio's face was ashen white, and he did not think that she was lying. He quickly reported this matter to Peak Master Yu. Chapter 220, Give me 180 defensive spirit tools. Peak Master Yu quickly brought a few elders to the spirit herb garden. The footprints on the ground are very shallow. It can be seen that the person's spiritual power is at least at the 5th level of the Spirit Emperor realm. These medicinal materials and branches on the ground were the work of that red-clothed man. "Yun Chujio, tell me what you saw." Peak Master Yu looked at Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio nodded. She told him the story that she had already made up. "Elder Qi asked me to keep an eye on the fruit of the golden thread grass. Once it turns from red to purple, I'll put it into the jade box. I naturally have to do my duty. Thus, I didn't dare to relax for even a moment. I didn't expect that the fruit would actually mysteriously disappear in front of me. I was anxious at that time. I cursed loudly at the wicked person who stole our Spirit Radiance sect's spirit herbs. Then, a red-clothed pervert and a black-clothed man appeared. That red-clothed pervert was playing with a skull in his hands. He even wanted to kill me and play with my skull. I was almost scared to death. Fortunately, I was quick-witted, so I ran away without saying anything. That red-clothed pervert sent out a bunch of wind blades to slash me. I don't know if he was afraid of hurting my skull, but he actually didn't aim it at me. Instead, he slashed the medicinal herbs. Everyone was extremely shocked. A person who played with a skull really was a pervert. Peak Master Yu furrowed his brows tightly. I've never heard of such a person. Could it be a newly rising power? Yun Chujiu, follow me to see Master Shenyuan and report this matter to him. Yun Chujiu eagerly followed Peak Master Yu to Master Xuanyuan's and told him everything. Then, she took the initiative and said, Master Shenyuan, I remember the faces of those two people. I'll draw them. This way, I can inform the other sects to guard against this red-clothed pervert. Although Master Shenyuan did not really believe that Yun Chujiu could draw anything decent, seeing her positive attitude, he did not want to discourage her, so he said, then you can go back and slowly draw them. When you're done, just hand them over to me. No need, no need. I'll just draw here. Just help me prepare a piece of charred charcoal and a few pieces of paper. Yun Chujiu wanted to show off a little, wanting to do so in the presence of Master Shenyuan. Very soon, a few pieces of charred charcoal and paper were given to Yun Chujiu. An hour later, Yun Chujiu handed the two finished drawings to Master Shenyuan. Yun Chujiu naturally did not draw as meticulously as she did Di Biming this time. She only roughly sketched out the appearance of the two men in red. Even so, it still shocked Master Shenyuan and Peak Master Yu. This kind of ability was comparable to a shadow stone. With these two paintings, at least the various sects would be on guard against them. Master Shenyuan also gave orders to strengthen the inspection of the various peaks. Although the other party's spirit energy was superb, if there were any problems, they would at least be able to provide timely assistance. After arranging everything, Master Shenyuan saw that Yun Chujiu had not left yet, so he said, you should go back. That red-clothed man probably wouldn't come to Spirit Radiance sect again for now. You can rest assured. Yun Chujiu pursed her lips. That's hard to say. Master Shenyuan, I suffered such a great fright in order to protect the sect's property. If I hadn't run away quickly, I would have lost my life. Aren't you going to give me 180 spirit tools to protect myself? If I die, you won't be able to answer to my master in the future, right? The corner of Master Xuanyuan's eyes twitched slightly. Spirit tools require spiritual power to be activated. You don't have any spiritual power, so how are you going to use it? Just because I don't have any spiritual power now doesn't mean I won't have it in the future. Besides, don't tell me there are no spirit tools that don't require spiritual power to be activated. For example, a spirit tool that automatically activates when it encounters a spiritual power attack. Yun Chujiu cursed inwardly, what an old fox. However, I, little ancestor Yun, am not easily fooled. Chapter 221, was rather good-looking Master Shenyuan choked and had no choice but to take out a bracelet from his storage ring. This is a phoenix-patterned enshrouding bracelet. It's a high-grade spirit tool that will automatically protect its master when it encounters a spirit energy attack. Before Master Shenyuan could finish speaking, Yun Chujiu snatched the bracelet away. Thank you, Master Shenyuan. Aren't bracelets always a pair? Give me that one too. Otherwise, how pitiful would it be if there's only one? Master Xuanyuan's face stiffened. I only have this one. All right. If there's none, then there's none. I'm not that greedy a person. Peak Master Yu, something happened to me on Middle Peak. Don't you have something to show for it? Yun Chujiu stretched out her small claws pitifully. Peak Master Yu was originally watching Master Xuanyuan's excitement with interest, but he did not expect Yun Chujiu to make such a scene, so he could only laugh dryly. He took out a white jade hairpin from his storage ring and handed it to Yun Chujiu. This is the exquisite cold jade hairpin. It's also a high-grade spirit tool that can automatically activate and it encounters a spirit attack. Yun Chujiu's hair was shoulder-length now, so she happily stuck the hairpin into her hair bun. After thanking him, she hopped away. Master Shenyuan and Master Yufeng looked at each other. For some reason, they felt that Yun Chujio really had a high chance of getting into the top 10 in the disciple test. It was not that she had much strength, but her ability to climb up ranks was truly unrivaled. The two of them felt an incomparable pain in their hearts. That was a high-grade spirit weapon. Plus, it was a high-grade spirit weapon that could activate itself. That was a life-saving weapon. Even if it was a true disciple, they would not be willing to give it away. Yun Chujio did not care whether they felt pain in their hearts or not. Seeing that it was getting late, she immediately returned to the dormitory. After all, there was Manager Gao keeping an eye on the spirit herb garden. As for the aging pill, Yun Chujio did not take it to heart. It had long been nibbled away by that strange grass. Yun Chujio was a little worried that Elder Qi would go crazy the next day when he returned. However, she had a big heart and was only worried for a while before forgetting about it. Instead, she took out the jade pendant that Di Biming had given her and looked at it. Seeing that there was a tiny crack on it, she felt a little pained. This time, it was all thanks to the gigolo's jade pendant. Otherwise, she would really have died. Speaking of which, it had been a long time since she had contacted the gigolo. She did not know if the voice transmission talisman would work. Perhaps I should try it out. Yun Chujio took out a voice transmission talisman and followed the method that Di Biming had taught her. She sent her divine sense into it. Cough. Cough. Prince Charming, I haven't seen you for a few days. Do you miss me, Yun Chujio, who is as beautiful as a flower? I have something to tell you. Today, two people came to the spirit herb garden. One of them was dressed in red, and the other one was in black. The one dressed in red was quite good-looking, but it's a pity that he's a pervert. My Prince Charming, the jade pendant you gave me has a tiny crack on it. You won't blame me, right? Yun Chujio told him everything, then withdrew her spiritual sense and held her chin as she waited for Di Biming's reply. The miserable Di Biming did not tell Yun Chujio that there was a time limit to the voice transmission talisman recording. Yun Chujio's words were coincidentally stuck at, the one in red was pretty good-looking, the rest of her words were not recorded at all. Di Biming had been holding back from contacting Yun Chujio. Finally, he realized that the voice transmission talisman in his storage ring was trembling. He was so excited that his palms were sweating. He sent his divine sense into it while trembling slightly, then, he heard, cough. Cough. Prince Charming, I haven't seen you for a few days. Do you miss me, Yun Chujio, who is as beautiful as a flower? I have something to tell you. Today, two men came to the spirit herb garden. One of them was dressed in red while the other was in black. The one in red was pretty good-looking. Chapter 222, Black Thing. I won't forgive you. When the poor Supreme Emperor heard the words, beautiful as a flower, he was in a good mood and amused. This black thing was still as thick-skinned as ever. However, when he heard the last part, he lost his composure. What? A man in red? She even praised him for being good-looking. It was reversed. It was really reversed. The black thing had forgotten what she had told him. Di Biming was so angry that he almost crushed the voice transmission talisman. Di Biming took out the voice transmission talisman and said angrily, Black thing. Just you wait. I won't let you off. Yun Chujio noticed that the voice transmission talisman was trembling, and she sent her spiritual sense into it anxiously. Then, she heard Di Biming gnashing his teeth. She was stunned at first, and then she was also angry. She angrily put away the voice transmission talisman. What the hell? You gave me the jade pendant, and you can't spare me even after it was cracked. To think that I wanted to thank you properly. Gigolo, you're so petty. You're so annoying. It's best if you never appear in front of me again. I can get rid of that strange grass by myself. Humph. Yun Chuzhou cursed the gigolo a few hundred times before she started to cultivate again. Di Baiming thought that Yun Chuzhou would use the other voice transmission talismans to explain to him, but there was still no developments in the middle of the night. He was so angry that he was spinning in circles. Unfortunately, he could not leave then. Otherwise, he would definitely teach the black thing a good lesson. Di Baiming took out Anfeng's voice transmission talisman. Keep a close eye on the black thing. If anything happens, I won't let you off. Anfeng was afraid of being discovered by the mighty figures of the Spirit Radiance sect. Moreover, he reckoned that there would not be any danger within the sect. Therefore, after Yun Chuzhou entered the pill refining room, he only stayed outside to observe the movements at all times. He only vaguely heard that someone had barged into the spirit herb garden. After hearing Di Baiming's message, he thought that Yun Chuzhou had told His Excellency everything, so he replied, "Your Excellency, I'll guard it to the death. Don't worry." When Di Baiming heard that, he confirmed the fact that Yun Chuzhou had hooked up with the man in red. He was so angry that he did not sleep. He began to spar with the secret guards. The guards were so depressed that they almost vomited blood. How was this sparring? This was simply a one-sided beating. Which blind person had offended His Excellency? The next day, Yun Chuzhou went to Elder Qi's courtyard anxiously. When Elder Qi heard about this matter when he returned this morning, he did not blame Yun Chuzhou. After all, the other party had come prepared, so he could only sigh at his bad luck. Sigh, this old man originally needed this golden thread grass fruit to refine a 7th grade spirit replenishing pill to repair my spiritual sense. It seems like there's no hope. I can't help it if my luck isn't good. Elder Qi, is this golden thread grass the only one we have here? Yun Chuzhou was a person who liked to be coaxed, but not forced. Seeing Elder Qi like this, she felt a little guilty. If only I had put the fruit into the jade box earlier, then it wouldn't have been stolen by that red-clothed pervert. Elder Qi sighed. The place where this golden thread grass grows is very secretive. This one was obtained by chance when I went out for training. Then can it bear fruit again? Of course it can. However, they bloom once every 100 years, bears fruit once every 100 years, and ripens once every 100 years. I probably won't be able to wait until then. Elder Qi sighed repeatedly and entered the house dejectedly. Yun Chuzhou entered the spirit herb garden with her head drooped. Looking at the bare branches of the golden thread grass, she muttered, "Sigh, could it be that I can only wait for another 300 years? If only there was a way to speed up the ripening process." Chapter 223, I am a male bird. Just as Yun Chuzhou was mumbling to herself, the strange grass in her dantian started to become restless. Yun Chuzhou had no choice but to take a look inside, only to see that it was trembling non-stop, as if it was having cramps. Yun Chuzhou was delighted. Could it be that this strange grass was about to choke? That would be great. It shook for a while, and then a drop of crystal clear liquid seeped out from one of the leaves. Yun Chuzhou subconsciously reached out her hand, and that drop of liquid magically appeared in Yun Chuzhia's palm. Little Black kept shouting in the spiritual beast bag, "It smells so good. It smells so good. Master, what's that smell? It smells really good, just like the smell on your body." Yun Chuzhou was stunned. The grass kept urging Yun Chuzhou with its consciousness, and Yun Chuzhou dripped the crystal clear liquid on the golden thread grass, although she did not understand why. Then, Yun Chuzhou was surprised to find that the golden thread grass was changing at great speeds visible to the naked eye. 15 minutes later, the flower bloomed, and another 15 minutes later, the fruit slowly turned from red to purple. Yun Chuzhou quickly took out the jade box that Elder Qi gave her yesterday and put the fruit away. Yun Chuzhia's heart pounded violently. She seemed to have discovered something amazing. The liquid secreted by the strange grass could actually accelerate the ripening of the herb. The effect was so astonishing. It only took less than 2 hours to accelerate the ripening of a 300-year-old herb. Moreover, it was an earth-grade high-grade herb. Oh my God! She needed to calm down. She felt a little uncomfortable with such an earth-shattering revelation. She needed to be quiet. This matter was too heaven-defying. She must not let anyone find out. Otherwise, it would be a crime to possess such treasure. It would be terrible if someone coveted it. Yun Chujio was stunned for a moment before she began to deal with the aftermath. She carefully broke off the newly grown twig of the golden thread grass, also known as witch hazel grass, and put it into her storage ring so that Elder Chi would not discover it. As for the fruit in her hand, she could not hand it over to Elder Chi right now. Otherwise, Elder Chi would think that she had caught the thief and had stolen it herself. When I find a suitable opportunity, I will find an excuse to give this fruit to him. At that moment, the strange grass in her dantian started to clamor for food. Seeing that there was no one around, Yun Chujio took out a bunch of super-grade blood coagulation pills and swallowed them. After the grass quickly finished eating, it continued to clamor for food. Yun Chujio swallowed several hundred pills in a row, and it finally calmed down. Yun Chujio could not help but complain. Indeed, there was no free lunch in the world. Although the weird grass secretion was heaven-defying, it was probably formed from the medicinal efficacy of these pills. Its consumption of them was really shocking, and she was almost running out of them already. Yun Chujio once again began to gather resources. She gathered a lot of medicinal herbs and put them into her storage ring. Now, she only needed the east wind of the 5th level of spirit enhancement. Little Black grumbled unhappily in the spirit beast bag, "Master, you still haven't told me what it was that smelled so good just now. Did you secretly eat something good?" Yun Chujio explained with some amusement, "Am I such a tasteless master? It was a drop of liquid secreted by the strange grass in my dantian. It catalyzed the golden thread grass to ripen. Master, you're so ungrateful. Why didn't you leave half a drop for me? That liquid must be good. I was so hungry that I couldn't stop salivating." Yun Chujio pouted. "Forget it, I don't think it's that good. Something that can accelerate the ripening of medicinal herbs is similar to the aging pill. If you eat it, you might give birth to another black bird. You're so bad. I'm a male bird. A male bird. A male bird." Little Black protested in grief and indignation. Chapter 224, Bullying Our Yun family members is courting death. Yun Chujio and Little Black laughed for a while and continued to collect more herbs. If not for this fellow's fear of being discovered by Elder Chi, she would have moved the entire spirit herb garden into her storage ring long ago. From that day onward, Yun Chujio made use of all the time available to refine the lightning energy released by the strange grass. She faintly felt that she was about to reach the threshold of a breakthrough. That morning, Yun Chujio was about to go to the spirit herb garden from the pill refining room when she heard a few outer sect disciples discussing among themselves. "Have you heard? The people from the Heavenly Gate sect are here. Of course I've heard about that huge gathering. I've heard that there are a few pretty female disciples. Especially one called Su Yenran. She's so pretty and charming. The Heavenly Gate sect and our Spirit Radiance sect have always been at odds with each other. What are they here for this time? There's not much time left before the Big Four sect's 30-year competition. They're probably here to test the waters. TSK. Our sect leader isn't stupid. Why would he reveal his true strength? He's probably just going through the motions. It's hard to say. After all, it's a matter of face. However, if the competition is also between the successor disciples and inner sect disciples, we only need to watch the show and the beauties." Yun Chujio's heart moved. Su Yenran. Could it be the Su Yenran she knew? Was she not in the Drifting Cloud sect? How did she end up in one of the 4 great sects, the Heavenly Gate sect? Perhaps it was someone with the same name. Yun Chujiu did not take it to heart. She stopped for a moment and continued to hop toward the spirit herb garden. One evening 2 days later, when Yun Chujiu passed by Yun Chua's courtyard, she heard a faint voice inside and knocked on the door. She saw Yun Chuki's face full of indignation. This is too much. That Heaven Gate sect is really too much. That's right. They don't have any sense of decency as guests at all. They're really shameless. Qing Si echoed from the side. Yun Chujiu asked curiously, what's going on? What's wrong with the guests from Heaven Gate sect? Little Jiu, you don't know about this yet. The Heaven Gate sect sent people here, yes. According to the rules, it's our Middle Peak's big kitchen's turn to serve the attendant disciples meals this time. The people from the Heaven Gate sect were all shouting rudely. They're so arrogant. They said that Spirit Radiance sect's meals aren't good, and that we must follow their recipes. They were being so picky even after they were done. It's like picking on the bones in an egg. Alas, they're guests from far away, so we couldn't say anything and could only endure it. It's too much. Yun Chuki said angrily. Yun Chujiu nodded. It's quite infuriating. But it doesn't have to make you so angry, seventh sister. Is there anything else you want to say? When 2 male disciples came to get their meals, they saw that fifth sister and seventh sister were pretty, so they started to get physical with them. Fortunately, Elder Huang and the others got rid of them. Qing Si saw that Yun Chu and Yun Chuki looked troubled and took the initiative to speak. What? Fuck. They actually bullied members of the Yun family. They're really tired of living, aren't they? I won't go to Elder Chi's place tomorrow. I want to see who doesn't care about their lives so much that they dare bully Yun family members. Yun Chujiu said angrily. Yun Chu sighed. Forget it. With Elder Huang and the others, we won't be at a disadvantage. Besides, we'll rest tomorrow and avoid them. Yun Chujiu rolled her eyes. Just rest as you usually would. I haven't gone to work for a long time, and I just happened to miss Elder Huang and the others. I'll go to work tomorrow. How could Yun Chu be at ease? After trying to persuade her for a while, she still could not dispel Yun Chujia's thoughts and could only say, since that's the case, then we'll all go to work. Little Jiu, let's make a deal first. You can't cause trouble. They're Spirit Radiance sect's guests. If you offend them, the sect leader will definitely punish you. Fifth sister, don't worry. If they don't provoke me, I definitely won't take the initiative to provoke them. Yun Chujiu secretly added in her heart. I would only beat them until their teeth were all over the ground. Chapter 225, You think you're great just because you act almighty? The next day, Yun Chujiu freshed up swiftly and went to the big kitchen. Everyone had not seen Yun Chujiu for a long time and greeted her warmly one by one. Yun Chujiu started chatting with everyone with a smile on her face. Everyone's words were filled with dissatisfaction toward the guests from Heavenly Gate sect, however, as they were guests, and one from the 4 great sects too, they naturally did not dare to offend them and could only swallow their anger. Yun Chujiu only listened with a smile and did not speak. Soon, breakfast was ready. Some servants and outer sect disciples came to eat breakfast. The dining hall was exceptionally lively. At that moment, a male voice shouted, "Hey! Get the 2 junior sisters from yesterday, come with us. Our elder said that the food yesterday was not bad and wants to reward you." A male disciple with a hooked nose stood beside the male with a duck-like voice. He was also wearing Heavenly Gate sect's outer disciple uniform. He smiled wretchedly at the side and said, "That's right. Our elder is generous. Hurry up and get the 2 junior sisters come with us." Elder Huang frowned and then squeezed out a smile to welcome them. "Senior brothers, I'm the manager of Middle Peak's big kitchen. I'll go with you." "You? Our elder specifically asked for those two junior sisters to go. Is this how Spirit Radiance sect treats their guests? You really don't have us in your eyes. Good. Since we can't invite them, well, bid farewell to your sect master, the male duck voice said arrogantly. The people dining and servants in the big kitchen were all furious. The guests from Heavenly Gate sect was too arrogant. This is Spirit Radiance sect's territory and they actually dared to act so arrogantly. They really deserve to be beaten up. However, they were using their sect's name as protection, and they were also guests. If they really offended him, the higher-ups would probably blame them. Therefore, although everyone was dissatisfied, no one made a sound. Elder Huang laughed dryly. It's really unfortunate that those two female servants are off duty today and didn't come to work. It's better for me to go. Don't you fucking understand human language? What are you, an old tree bark, going to do? Do our elders need to see your old face? Cut the crap and quickly find those two junior sisters. Otherwise, they'll throw away these meals right now. They'll say that you've neglected your guests from the Heavenly Gates sect, the male with a duck-like voice cursed. Fuck off if you're not going to eat. You're actually putting on an act in our Spirit Radiance sect. Do you think you're great just because you act almighty? Yun Chuzhou poured a basin of swill directly onto the male with the duck-like voice and the hawk-nosed man. The man with the duck's voice and the hawk-nosed man were stunned at first. Obviously, they were not used to Yun Chuzhiu's way of attacking people at the slightest disagreement. Then, they flew into a rage. Where did this stupid girl come from? You're simply courting death. My surname is Great, and my name is Ant. If you have the ability, you can scold me. Yun Chuzhou threw the basin on the ground. She was as arrogant as she could be. Okay, Great Ant. I won't let you off today. After the guy with the duck voice was done speaking, he knew that he had been tricked. Yun Chuzhou giggled. Sigh. Son, you still dare to disobey me even though you know that I'm your great aunt. How unfilial. Stinky girl, you took advantage of me. I'll slap you to death. The male duck voice rushed toward Yun Chuzhou. Yun Chuzhou jumped into the dining crowd. Senior brothers and sisters, what are you still looking at? Beat him up for me. If there's anything, just blame it on me. Don't tell me you're just going to let these two stupid pigs run around in our Spirit Radiance sect's territory. The people of Spirit Radiance sect had been holding back their anger for a long time, but they were afraid that the higher-ups would blame them, so they did not dare make a move. Now that they heard Yun Chuzhiu's words, the crowd immediately became excited. That's right. What's the point of Heavenly Gates sect sending so many people here? They're always pretending to be weak. Beat him up. Beat them to death. I've been displeased with them for a long time. That's right. Pretentious bastard. Beat him up. Chapter 226. It is better to have fun together than alone. The man with the croaky voice and the man with a hooked nose cried for their mother and father after being beaten up. They shouted, just you wait. None of you will live. Yun Chuzhou went back to the kitchen and took a kitchen knife. Then, she jumped behind the crowd and shouted, you're still so stubborn. Continue to beat them up. When you beg for mercy and admit your mistake, only then will they stop. Finally, the two of them could not hold on anymore. Stop. Great aunt, we were wrong. Quickly make them stop. Yun Chuzhou curled her lips. Restrain them, I want them to draw their names. The crowd surrounded the two of them in the middle. Their hands and feet were tied with ropes. Even if they wanted to run, they could not. Yun Chuzhou stepped forward and kicked the two of them. Act. Why aren't you acting? You really want to behave so atrociously in our Spirit Radiance sect? Have you asked your senior brothers and sisters to come here? Hand over all your valuable things. Otherwise, it'll cut off your ears. The man with the croaky voice and the hooked nose looked at the kitchen knife in Yun Chujia's hand shining in a cold gleam. Then, they thought of the smelly girl's actions previously. They did not doubt her ruthlessness at all. With a sad face, they poured out the spirit stones and some medicinal pills from their storage bags. That's all. Do you not want the left ear or the right ear? Yun Chujio held the kitchen knife and gestured in front of the two of them. The two of them had no choice but to pour out all their valuables from their storage bags. We really don't have any more this time. Yun Chujio smiled sinisterly and raised the kitchen knife and gestured at the croaky voice. The croaky voice screamed in fear as his eyes rolled and he fainted. Yun Chujio curled her lips, took a piece of cloth and said to the hook-nosed man, "I'll read and you write. If you dare to write a wrong word, I'll chop off one of your fingers. Senior brother, untie the rope on his hand." "I don't have any ink here," the hook-nosed man said with a sad face. "Bite your finger and write. If you can't bear it, I'll chop off one for you," Yun Chujio said with a smile. The man was scared and quickly took a bite of his right index finger. "By the way, what are your names?" Yun Chujio stared at the hook-nosed man's eyes to prevent him from lying. He no longer dared to be clever and quickly said, "My name is Zhang Xiong, and his name is Sun Liang." "Then start writing." "I, Zhang Xiong, and Sun Liang are in cahoots with each other. We are like-minded, despicable, and shameless. We're worse than pigs and dogs. We eat human food but do not act like humans. Ever since we came to Spirit Radiance sect, we've been scheming and sowing discord. We have said many bad things about the disciples of Spirit Radiance sect. In fact, those bad things were all fabricated by us. Fortunately, we met the righteous disciples of Spirit Radiance sect. They didn't despise us for being as stupid as pigs and patiently taught us the principles of being human. From now on, we will definitely change our ways and strive to be the ambassadors of the two factions. Sign your names and put your handprints on it." The hawk-nosed man and the duck-voiced man, who had just woken up, signed their names with trembling voices and put their handprints on it. Yun Chujio took it and looked at it. Then she said with disdain, "Your handwriting is really ugly. It doesn't have any nice strokes at all. Go back and practice hard. If you can't write well next time, I'll chop your fingers off." The hawk-nosed man said with a sobbing voice, "Yes, great aunt. I'll definitely practice hard when I go back. Well, get lost. If anyone wants to stand up for you, just look for me." Yun Chujio waved her hand, indicating for them to be released. The duck-voiced and hawk-nosed men supported each other as they limped away. Yun Chujio looked at the spirit stones and pills that the two had handed over on the ground. She smiled and said to the crowd, "Although I, Yun Chujio, am young, I know the principle that it's better to have fun together than alone. I'll ask senior brother Feng Ming to exchange these things for a few jars of spirit wine. When the time comes, all senior brothers and sisters must come and have a taste." Chapter 227, I didn't make a move. Everyone cheered. "Junior sister Little Jill, well done. You're really something. Junior sister Little Jill, let us know if there's anything you need help with. Junior sister Little Jill, if the higher-ups blame us, we'll be your witnesses. That's right. Those two scumbags deserve to be beaten up. If they really want to punish you, we won't agree." Yun Chujio smiled as she put away the spirit stones and pills. After chatting with everyone for a while, she returned to the kitchen. Old Huang followed behind her, wanting to say something but stopping. He gritted his teeth and said, "Little Jill, go to Elder Qi's place to hide. Elder Qi is a very protective person, so he'll definitely be able to protect you." Yun Chujio was amused. "Old Huang, I know you're worried about me, but don't worry. It'll definitely be fine." Elder Huang saw Yun Chujio's relaxed expression. Although he was still a little worried, he could not say anything. Yun Chu and the others were also worried. They were afraid that Yun Chujio would be punished. Yun Chujio patted her small chest. Don't worry. Don't you all know me? I never do things that I'm unsure of. Yun Chu and the others thought about it. It made sense. It seemed like little Jiu was able to accomplish anything. 2 hours later, Master Xuanyuan's disciple came to summon Yun Chujio. He said that Master Xianyuan wanted to see her. Elder Huang and the rest were anxious. Little Jiu, those two must have gone back to complain. Master Xianyuan wants to punish you. Yun Chujio waved her little claws. It's fine, it's fine. I'll go and take a look. She hopped and followed the disciple to Master Xuanyuan's guest hall. Yun Chujio stole a glance. Other than Master Xianyuan, the 5 peak masters, and some elders, there were also a few unfamiliar faces. They must be the sect masters and elders of Heavenly Gates sect. Little girl, are you the one who beat up the disciples of our Heavenly Gates sect? An old man in a long green robe stared at Yun Chujio maliciously. At the same time, he emitted a mighty pressure that charged at Yun Chujio. The disciple of Zhang Peak felt suffocated by this pressure and almost vomited blood. On the other hand, Yun Chujio acted as if nothing had happened as she said with a smile, a gentlewoman doesn't fight with hands, but instead uses words to speak. I didn't beat them up. If you don't believe me, you can ask them if I used my hands to beat them up. Master Xianyuan looked at the old man unhappily. Du Gai, the matter hasn't been investigated thoroughly. What is the meaning of this? The old man in green snorted coldly and retracted his aura. Then, he asked the 2 people standing behind him, did she beat you up? The people standing behind him were the man with a duck voice and the hawk-nosed guy. The 2 of them looked at each other. Master, she. Although she didn't beat us up, she encouraged others to beat us up. She even kicked us twice. Yun Chujio curled her lips and said, wow, you guys sure backtracked on your words real fast. That's not what you guys said in the kitchen. You even thanked us for being brave enough to stop you from reining in your horses in the nick of time. Master Xianyuan, I have their confession letter here. Please take a look. Yun Chujio was afraid that the confession letter would be snatched away by the green-clothed old man, so she hopped around and personally handed the confession letter to Master Xianyuan. Master Xianyuan opened it and took a look. The corners of his eyes twitched slightly, and he almost laughed out loud. He held back his laughter and passed it to the others. After the people from the Spirit Radiance sect finished reading it, they all looked like they were holding back their laughter. Finally, the confession letter was passed to the people from the Heavenly Gates sect. After Du Gai finished reading it, he was so angry that he almost slapped the 2 people to death. They actually left such a thing in their hands. What a disgrace. Du Gai sneered and said, this is a forced confession. Master Xianyuan, we came all the way here, but we have suffered such unfair treatment. Your Spirit Radiance sect should at least give us an explanation. Chapter 228, Yun Chujio, where is your honor? Master Xianyuan asked indifferently, then what do you want to say? Du Gai glanced at Yun Chujio sinisterly. There are 2 choices. Either we hand this little girl over to our Heavenly Gates sect to deal with, or we send 10 people from each side to compete. The prize of the competition is 100,000 low-grade spirit stones. Master Xianyuan, what will Spirit Radiance sect choose? Yun Chujio weakly stretched out her small claws. Master Xianyuan, may I say something? Master Xianyuan nodded. Yes. Yun Chujio smiled at Du Gai. From the 2 choices that Master Dugu mentioned, I understand that I, Yun Chujio, are equivalent to 100,000 spirit stones. I wonder how sect leader Du Gai wants to deal with me. Why don't you tell me, and if it's not too serious, just give me 100,000 spirit stones and they'll be at your disposal. Whether it was the people from the Spirit Radiance sect or Heavenly Gate sect, they were all instantly dumbfounded. Fuck. They had never seen such a greedy person. Moreover, aren't you being too shameless? Who said that you're equivalent to 100,000 spirit stones? The two sects are fighting for face, not a mere servant disciple like you. Little girl, if you accept Heavenly Gate sect's punishment, then immediately kneel down and apologize to the two disciples of my sect. Then, you have to withstand a slap from me. Du Gai said with a sneer. If that's the case, then forget it. I'm representing Spirit Radiance sect's honor, and I can't kneel down to two people that are inferior to pigs and dogs. Let's meet on the competition stage. I think you might as well just give us that 100,000 low-grade spirit stones since you won't win anyway. Yun Chujio was afraid that Du Gai would kill her out of embarrassment and anger. These words were said from behind Elder Chu with her little head poking out. Du Gai was so angry that his face turned ashen. Master Xianyuan, Spirit Radiance sect is really too unruly. A mere servant actually dares to speak to the sect leader of my sect in such a manner. This is really going too far. Master Xianyuan smiled faintly. Du Gai, why bother with a child? I agree to have a competition with you. Men, build an arena on the southern Jade Square. Tomorrow morning, Spirit Radiance sect will have a competition with the Heavenly Gate sect. Du Gai snorted coldly and left with a few people. Yun Chujio, you've provoked a dispute between two sections. You have to take responsibility for it. Master Xuanyuan's face darkened slightly as he said unhappily. Yun Chujio jumped out from behind Elder Chu and said with a smile, Master Xianyuan, you shouldn't punish me. You should reward me. Master Xianyuan was amused. Why should I reward you? Yun Chujio clasped her small hands behind her back and said slowly, I heard that the Heavenly Gate sect came this time to test the strength of our sect. Their disciples are picky and find fault with us. Aren't they just trying to stir up some trouble so that they can take advantage of the situation to get you to agree to the competition? Although you and the other peak masters and elders don't like them, it's not good for you to show up because of your status. What about the other senior brothers and sisters? They're also afraid of offending the guests and being blamed by you. So, I saw that this deadlock can only be broken by a shameless person like me. Thus, I encouraged everyone to beat up those two scumbags and even made them write a confession. In any case, you'll have to agree to the Heavenly Gate sect's competition sooner or later. If I do this, Spirit Radiance sect will go in with honor. When the confession of those two scumbags is announced, no one will say anything bad about us. Moreover, you can even earn 100,000 low-grade spirit stones. This is a good deal, and I've made quite a contribution this time. However, I'm not a greedy person, so it's fine if we split it 50-50. You could just give me 10,000 spirit stones. Everyone else was speechless. We just want to ask. Yun Chujio, where's your honor? Chapter 229, If they can't do it, it'll go up the corner of Master Xuanyuan's eyes twitched slightly. I can promise you 10,000 spirit stones, but if our Spirit Radiance sect loses, are you also willing to give 10,000 spirit stones? Yun Chujio secretly cursed at the old fox and said with a grin, Master Xianyuan. How can you boost the morale of others and destroy our own prestige? Our sect will definitely win, and will definitely beat the Heavenly Gate sect to the point that they will give up. There's always a contingency plan for everything. If you dare to agree, I will agree to you. Master Xianyuan kicked the ball back to Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes and straightened her small body. Why wouldn't I dare? As a Spirit Radiance sect disciple, you have to have absolute confidence in the sect. Although I only have a dozen or so spirit stones with me, I can write an IOU and will slowly repay it in the future. Yun Chujio's words immediately won the praise of the people present. Although Yun Chujio was usually not very interesting, she was still very loyal to the sect. Master Xianyuan was very surprised. Yun Chujiu was not an ordinary person who was greedy for money. She actually dared to agree. At that moment, the train had left the station and he could not back down. He could only say, "All right. Then it's a deal. If you win, I'll give you 10,000 spirit stones. If you lose, you'll compensate the sect with 10,000 spirit stones. You can go back." Yun Chujiu hopped back to the big kitchen. Elder Huang and the others immediately surrounded her. Yun Chujiu waved her small claws. "It's all right, it's all right. Our sect leader is the most wise. Not only did he not punish me, he even felt that I had been too kind. He encouraged me to be harsher next time." Although everyone felt that these words did not sound like what Master Xianyuan had said, they did not ask any further when they saw that Yun Chujiu was unharmed. Yun Chujiu strolled around the kitchen and began to collect more items while she was at it, especially when she stole a few large packets of chili and pepper powder. Early the next morning, Yun Chujiu brought Little Black with her, and with a rolling pin on her waist, she headed to the southern Jade Square valiantly. "Master, why are you so proactive?" Little Black asked in confusion. "Are you stupid? We're talking about 10,000 spirit stones here. If the people of Spirit Radiance sect aren't strong enough, they'll personally go up. No matter what, I can't give up 10,000 spirit stones. Master, aren't you afraid that your thunder spirit energy will be exposed? Don't I still have you? When you curse them, the opponent will definitely fall down. When he doesn't get up, they'll throw another bag of chili powder. It will be so painful." Quack. Yun Chujiu laughed strangely. The rolling pin shook. What kind of evil master did I follow? Isn't she too sinister? When Yun Chujiu hopped to the southern Jade Square, there were already many people gathered in the square. They were all discussing that day's competition. Yun Chujiu used her small figure to squeeze to the front. She took out a bag of spirit melon seeds from her bosom and ate them while listening to everyone's discussion. "I wonder who will the Heavenly Gates sect send? If my spiritual power wasn't too low, I would have wanted to go on stage and beat up those bastards. They're all very arrogant. I don't think they will be outstanding disciples. After all, it's just a test. They also want to leave some cards up their sleeves." "Well, what you said makes sense. If the people sent out by Heavenly Gates aren't of a high level, I don't think our sect will send out true disciples. That's only natural. I reckon that they would send people with similar spiritual power levels. When the time comes, what will be tested will be their actual combat ability and improvisation." Yun Chujiu rolled her eyes. If the two sides were equally powerful, then she would have to teach the people of the Spirit Radiance sect a lesson. They were all too honest. It would be better to be sinister on a battlefield. If they were too honest, they would suffer. Chapter 230, The Spirit Radiance sect was only subpar. An hour later, Master Xianyuan and Du Gai arrived. Master Xianyuan stood on the stage and said a few polite words. It was nothing more than welcoming the visit of the guests from Heavenly Gate sect, and some nonsense about friendship first and competition second. After his polite words, they got to the main topic and the competition officially began. The people of the Heavenly Gate sect were obviously well prepared. Just as Master Xianyuan walked off the stage, a male disciple from the sect jumped onto the stage. "I am Wang Dongliang, a new disciple of the Heavenly Gate sect. I am on level 7 of Spirit Enhancement. Who from Spirit Radiance sect is willing to come up and spar with me?" The four great sects were conducting the entrance test at around the same time, so Wang Dongliang was a new disciple who had entered the sect less than a year ago. Spirit Radiance sect naturally had to find someone with the right strength to go up and fight. Mozwa, a new disciple from the East Peak of Spirit Radiance sect, is going to fight. Elder Chu knew these new disciples better, so Master Xianyuan handed over the task of picking the candidates to him. A male disciple dressed in Spirit Radiance Sect's outer sect uniform jumped onto the stage. The two of them cupped their hands and were about to make a move after reporting their names. Suddenly, Yun Chujio cried out in surprise. Immediately, both the people on the stage and those around them turned their gazes to Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio looked around and laughed dryly. I'm sorry. I had a nightmare just now. I dreamt that the people of the Heavenly Gates sect were constantly plotting against me. They were attacking me, feigning death, poisoning, using hidden weapons, talismans, and so on. It jolted me awake. Senior Brother Mo, you have to be careful. There are no fathers and sons on this battlefield. You can't be soft-hearted toward him. Wang Dongliang was livid. Why did her words sound so made up? Not just that, exactly what did she mean by there were no fathers and sons on the battlefield? Who was the father and who was the son between the two of them? Mo Zhuo was extremely smart, so he naturally understood Yun Chujio's implication. Therefore, he was somewhat on guard. Sure enough, after the two of them started fighting and just as they were getting to the heat of things, Wang Dongliang made a feint and threw 3 golden needles straight at Mo Zhuo's face. If it were not for Yun Chujio's warning, Mo Zhuo would have been hit. However, he was already mentally prepared. He leaned back and dodged the 3 golden needles. On top of that, he formed a seal with his hand and 5 wind blades went straight for Wang Dongliang. Wang Dongliang thought his golden needles would successfully hit his opponent, so he was caught off guard. Although he dodged 4 of the wind blades, he was still hit in the abdomen by the edge of one of the wind blades. Wang Dongliang screamed and hurriedly took a hemostasis pill. Then, he said with a pale face, I admit defeat. Du Gai's face was gloomy. He sent another disciple to the ring. Elder Chu responded to each and every move, and also sent a disciple with the corresponding strength onto the stage. After a few rounds like that, both sides had their winners and losers. Spirit Radiance Sect relied on the favorable location and the harmony of the people. Hence, they had a slight advantage which resulted in a score of 5-4. The next round was crucial. If Spirit Radiance Sect won, then they would win the whole tournament. If the Heavenly Gates Sect won, then both sides only had one more chance to win. No one had expected that the Heavenly Gates Sect would send a beautiful woman to the stage in that crucial round. The woman was elegant and refined, like a fairy who did not belong to the mortal world. However, there was a hint of arrogance on her face. I, a new disciple of the Heavenly Gates Sect, Su Yenran, is at the 8th level of the Spirit Enhancement Realm. Who wants to fight with me? Yun Chujio took a good look and saw that it was really the Su Yenran that she knew. The 8th level of the Spirit Enhancement Realm? It seemed that Su Yenran had some fortuitous encounter. Otherwise, it would be impossible for her to advance from the 5th level of the Spirit Enhancement Realm to the 8th level in half a year's time. Elder Chu was in a dilemma. Liao Chuan, a new disciple, was only at the 8th level of the Spirit Enhancement Realm, and he had just broken through half a month ago. Su Yenran was obviously at the late stage of the 8th level, and was just one step away from the 9th level of the Spirit Enhancement Realm. We're most likely going to lose this round. Sure enough, after Liao Chuan went on the stage, no matter how hard he tried to hold on for dozens of rounds, he was still hit in the abdomen by Su Yenran. He could only admit defeat. Su Yenran smiled coldly and arrogantly. The Spirit Radiance Sect is only subpar. In the next round, Heavenly Gates Sect will still send me to fight. I wonder who from Spirit Radiance Sect will come on the stage to fight with me. Chapter 231, The Fire Fairy. Yun Chujio Su Yanran's provocative words naturally caused the people of Spirit Radiance Sect to be dissatisfied. However, in the Qingxian continent, the strong were respected. For Su Yanran to be able to reach the 8th level of the Spirit Enhancement at the age of 15, she indeed had the right to be arrogant. Such a talent would become a successor disciple sooner or later. It was really not something to be underestimated. Elder Chu was in a difficult situation. Spirit Radiance sect naturally had many disciples above the 8th level of the spirit enhancement. However, Su Yanran was a new disciple of Heavenly Gate sect. If they sent an old disciple, it would be equivalent to showing weakness in disguise. If that was the case, it would be better to lose. Moreover, it was not forbidden for the same person to fight twice. Even though they knew that Su Yanran had taken advantage of a loophole, there was nothing they could do. It seemed that they were really careless. They did not expect that the Heavenly Gate sect would send out all new disciples. They were caught unprepared. Looks like their sect was bound to lose this competition. Du Gai looked at Su Yanran with admiration. Then, he said to Master Shenyuan with a smug expression, "Master Shenyuan, it seems that the new disciples that you've recruited this time aren't strong enough." Although Master Shenyuan was anxious in his heart, he looked calm on the surface. The competition hasn't ended yet. You're too quick with your words. Du Gai pursed his lips and thought to himself, what a stubborn duck. He had made this decision after a round of investigation. Su Yanran's strength had crushed all the new disciples of the 4 great sects, so they would definitely win this competition. The people of Spirit Radiance sect could not help but feel a little discouraged when they saw that Elder Chu had not announced the candidates for the stage yet. That was right. Among them, only Liao Chuan was at the 8th level of the spirit enhancement realm and he had already been defeated by Su Yanran. The rest were even more useless. Just as the people of Spirit Radiance sect were frowning, someone climbed up the stage along the ladder. Well, it's getting late. Everyone must be hungry, right? Let me be the one to fight this round. Sect leader, you don't have any objections, right? When the people from Spirit Radiance sect saw the person who spoke on the stage and were instantly discouraged. Wasn't that Yun Chujio from the Middle Peak's big kitchen? Wasn't she asking for trouble? Even though you have a lot of bad ideas, the difference between someone at the 8th level of the spirit enhancement realm and someone without spirit energy was like the difference between heaven and earth. Su Yanran could kill you with one move. The people from the Heavenly Gate sect burst into laughter. Oh my God, is there no one left in Spirit Radiance sect? They actually brought up a trash without spirit energy. She actually climbed up a ladder. What's that on her shoulders? A young fire-breathing crow. There's a strange-looking stick on her waist too. Fuck, isn't that a rolling pin? Elder Chu was so anxious that he was sweating profusely. This was simply too ridiculous. If Yun Chujio were to be snuffed out, how would they explain it to Patriarch Ling Hua in the future? Just as Elder Chu was about to berate Yun Chujio, Master Xuanyuan's heart moved. This little girl, Yun Chujio, had always been scheming and scheming. Perhaps she really had a way to defeat Su Yanran. Moreover, Yun Chujio had the defensive spirit weapon that he and Peak Master Chu had given her. There was definitely no danger. Since there was no other way around it, why not let her give it a try? It was a last resort. When Master Shenyuan thought of this, he said in a deep voice, "All right. This round, Spirit Radiance sect will send Yun Chujio to fight." Everyone in the sect felt that Master Shenyuan had gone crazy. Yun Chujio is causing trouble, and you're causing trouble too. This round was definitely a lost cause. Some disciples of Spirit Radiance sect simply left with their heads drooping. They really did not want to see the ridiculing faces of their opponents after Yun Chujio was abused. Yun Chujio, who was on the stage, smiled and cupped her fists toward the audience. There are probably many people who don't know me. Let me introduce myself first. I am Yun Chujio, the Fire Fairy of Spirit Radiance sect's Middle Peak Kitchen. Chapter 232, The Unbelievable Yun Chujio Fire Fairy. Holy shit. Yun Chujio, do you still have any sense of shame? The corners of her sex members' eyes twitched and some of them were so shocked that they could not close their mouths. They had encountered thick-skinned individuals before, but for their skin to be as thick as Yunchujia's, it was truly unprecedented. Was she the one who conferred herself the title of fairy? Those who could be called fairy had at least two conditions. One was that they were absolutely beautiful, and the other was that they possessed superb spiritual power. One would ask, which did she have? The people from Heavenly Gate sect laughed so hard that they rocked back and forth. A fire fairy? To put it bluntly, was she not just a fire girl? There really must have been no one else capable for them to send a fire girl on stage. Could it be that they knew that they were going to lose, so they decided to just break the rules? Du Gai smiled disdainfully and said, Master Shenyuan, could it be that you think Spirit Radiance sect is going to lose, so you want this black girl to take the blame? Master Shenyuan smiled faintly. The winner hasn't been decided yet. Master Du Gai, don't jump to conclusions. Du Gai curled his lips, humph. A trash without spirit energy and a genius at the 8th level of the spirit enhancement realm. Even those without eyes know who will win. You'd better hurry up and prepare the spirit stones. Master Shenyuan smiled and did not say anything. He was not sure either. He did not know if Yunchujio could make a comeback this time. On the stage, Yunchujio looked at Su Yanran with a smile as if she did not hear the crowd's discussion. Su Yanran, I haven't seen you for a few days, but you're getting more and more beautiful. You're almost as beautiful as me. The crowd was speechless. Alright, Yunchujio was really shameless. Su Yanran was also stunned when she saw Yunchujio on the stage. Now that she heard Yunchujio said such a thing, she looked at her with disdain and replied, Yunchujio, didn't you say that Elder Sun Buizhong Elder Sun took you as a disciple? Why did you become a fire girl? If it was an ordinary person, they would definitely be embarrassed if their background was exposed. Obviously, Yunchujio was not an ordinary person, so said with a smile, Elder Sun is on a cultivation retreat. Moreover, I want to experience the people's sentiments. Also, I'm a fire fairy, not some fire girl. Su Yanran snorted coldly. I don't care if you're a fire fairy or a fire girl. Once you enter the arena, it doesn't matter if you're dead or alive. I advise you to admit defeat immediately. Otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless if I accidentally kill you. Kill me? Do you have the ability to do that? 6 mighty elephants couldn't even kill me, and you, a weak little chicken, wants to kill me? You're simply shameless. Yunchujio hugged her small shoulders and said arrogantly while shaking her legs. Su Yanran had always been proud and arrogant. How could she withstand Yunchujio's provocation? She was instantly enraged. Fine. Since you're courting death, then I'll fulfill your wish. Su Yanran moved her palm toward Yunchujio. The people from Spirit Radiance sect could not bear to watch any longer. It was over. Yunchujio, this trash without spiritual power, would not be able to dodge this palm. She would definitely die. No matter how much evil tricks she had, it would be useless in the face of such a huge difference in strength. Huh. Yunchujio was fine. TSK, you're really rude. I was talking to you in a friendly manner, but you attacked me at the first sign of disagreement. You're really shameless. Su Yanran, you're shameless. Not only was Yunchujio fine, she was even jumping around as she dodged and cursed non-stop. Su Yanran was so angry that she was about to explode. She attacked repeatedly. However, Yunchujio was able to craftily dodge Su Yanran's attacks every time. Moreover, she was extremely fast. Whether it was the people of Spirit Radiance sect or Heavenly Gate sect, they were all extremely astonished. A trash without spiritual power could actually fight against a person at the 8th level of the spirit enhancement realm for so many rounds. It was really too unbelievable. Did they not say that the difference in strength between levels was like a gully? Why did a good-for-nothing like Yun Chuzhou look more relaxed than a spirit-enhanced 8th-level cultivator like Liao Chuan? Chapter 233. Fortunately Du Gai was also very surprised, but he looked at the situation on the stage, sneered, and said, although this little girl has some ability, this is only temporary. She only has the ability to dodge and has no chance to fight back. She'll lose without a doubt if she can't last more than 15 rounds. Many people also understood that reasoning. Although it was very surprising that Yun Chuzhou could hold on for so long, the outcome could not be changed. She would still lose without a doubt. Yun Chuzhou avoided Su Yanran's attack as she said with a grin, Su Yanran, you still dare to boast shamelessly that Spirit Radiance sect is only subpar. I see that your Heavenly Gates sect isn't that special either. Your spiritual power has almost been used up, right? A wise man submits to circumstances. Quickly. For the sake of our past friendship, as long as you kneel down and admit your mistake to me, I'll spare you. The crowd was angered by Yun Chuzhou's words. You've said it the other way around. If you want to be spared, Su Yanran should be the one sparing you. Su Yanran would kneel down and beg for mercy. Not unless the sun rose from the north. Su Yanran had failed to defeat Yun Chuzhou after many rounds. She had long been impatient. When she heard Yun Chuzhou say that, she was so angry that her lungs were about to explode. She even stepped up her attacks. Unexpectedly, something unwarranted happened. Su Yanran stumbled and actually fell onto the stage with a bang. Ah, that's right. Since you're so tactful, I'll give you something good. Yun Chuzhou pretended to take out a big bag of chili powder from her storage ring. She threw it at Su Yanran. Su Yanran just looked up. She thought it was a hidden weapon, so she could not dodge in time. She swung her wind blade. Boom! The chili powder inside got on Su Yanran's face. Cough! Cough! Achoo! Achoo! Su Yanran coughed so hard that her nose was full of snot. She looked as pathetic as she could be. How could Yun Chuzhou let go of such a good opportunity? She kicked Su Yanran off the stage. Then, she put her hands behind her back and imitated Su Yanran's previous arrogant look. The Heavenly Gates sect is only subpar. The crowd was silent at first, then they began to discuss. Oh my God! Hurry up and pinch me. Yun Chuzhou actually won. Fuck. A good-for-nothing without spiritual power actually defeated a level 8 spirit cultivator. Why did that Su Yanran suddenly fall on the stage? Could it be that she really begged Yun Chuzhou for mercy? If you ask me, it must be that Su Yanran tripped and that Yun Chuzhou took advantage of the situation. Oh right, what kind of poison do you think Yun Chuzhou threw? Why is that Su Yanran coughing so hard that she can't even breathe? A disciple who was close to the arena looked at some of the powder floating down and said, chili powder. This is ordinary chili powder. Su Yanran was already embarrassed and angry, but when she heard the discussion of the crowd, she was so angry that she rolled her eyes and almost fainted. Yun Chuzhou. I won't forgive you. Just you wait. Today is just an accident. If I hadn't accidentally fallen, your chili powder wouldn't have succeeded. There's still time in the future, and sooner or later, you'll have to take revenge for today's humiliation. Seeing that the outcome was already decided, Yun Chuzhou climbed down the ladder with a smile. Then, she shouted in the direction of Master Shenyuan, Master Shenyuan, fortunately, we didn't fail. Our Spirit Radiance sect has won. Master Shenyuan was feeling refreshed. He found Yun Chuzhou so pleasing to the eye. He nodded at her and then said to Du Gai, Master Dugu, I'm really sorry. Our sect has the upper hand. Please fulfill your promise. Du Gai glared at Yun Chuzhou fiercely. Everything turned out like this because of this Yun Chuzhou. Detestable. She is really detestable. Chapter 234, We admire you for being so greedy. Yun Chujio saw Du Gai glaring at her and bared her little white teeth at him. Master Du Gai, don't you think my performance isn't bad? Aren't you going to reward me? Du Gai was so angry that his nose scrunched up. Reward you? I wish I could slap you to death. Master Xianyuan laughed and said, Master Du Gai, you're too polite. This gesture of yours is commendable, as is expected of a sect master. Yun Chujio, why don't you quickly thank Master Du Gai? Yun Chujio said with a smile, Master Dugu, thank you very much. You're indeed the sect master of the Heavenly Gates sect. Although you lost the competition, you're still rewarding me. You're really open-minded. You're so amiable and admirable. Du Gai was so angry that he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Xianyuan and Yun Chujio. They were simply an old fox and a little fox. They really ate people without spitting out their bones. Not only did they lose 100,000 low-grade spirit stones to Spirit Radiance sect, but they actually wanted him to give Yun Chujio something. It was infuriating. Even though Du Gai was extremely unwilling, if he did not give her something, he would lose his reputation. Moreover, if this thing was not of a high enough grade, he would not be able to avoid being laughed at by others. Although you won by luck this time, I saw that you're still quite agile, so I'll give you this middle-grade spirit tool, the Scarlet Dawn Silk. However, you don't have any spirit energy, so I reckon you won't be able to use it. Du Gai could not help but say a few bitter words. Yun Chujio ran over eagerly and took the cloth. She said with a smile, Thank you, sect leader Du Gai. Although I don't have any spirit energy, this piece of Scarlet Dawn Silk is pretty. I'll tie it around my waist. It's very hot in the kitchen, so it'll be good to use it to wipe my sweat. Du Gai was so angry that he was twitching. That was a middle-grade spirit tool, and you're going to use it to wipe your sweat? Is your sweat that precious? Everyone was also dumbfounded. The only person who would use a middle-grade spirit tool to wipe their sweat was probably that idiot, Yun Chujio. What a reckless waste of a god's gift. Su Yenran was simply about to explode from anger. The sect leader had originally said that he would give the Scarlet Dawn Silk to her after the competition ended. Who would have thought that he had to give it to this thick-skinned Yun Chujio? Yun Chujio, sooner or later, I will kill you. Yun Chujio did not care about what others thought. She tied the scarlet red silk on her belt. Alright, Yun Chujio's current image was truly unique. On the left side of her waist was a bright red silk cloth. On the right side of her waist was a rolling pin, and on her shoulder was a fire-breathing crow. Her aura could be described with one word. Awesome. She was about to obtain 10,000 spirit stones, and she had obtained another tool. She was in such a good mood. Master Xianyuan went up to the stage and spoke a few more pleasantries before the competition finally came to an end. Yun Chujio's reputation in Spirit Radiance sect soared once again. The outer sect disciples and servants felt that even though she did not have any spirit energy, she was agile, thick-skinned, and evil. It was best that they did not offend her. As for the inner sect disciples and true disciples, they did not take Yun Chujio to heart. No matter how powerful Yun Chujio was, she could not be compared to them. It was already good enough that she barely made it into the outer sect. That night, Su Yenran sent someone to look for Bai Moyu and his sister. The three of them had a confidential discussion. When the Bai siblings came out, they could not hide the joy on their faces. The next day, Du Gai left along with everyone else from Heavenly Gates sect. As soon as they left, Yun Chujio immediately went to look for Master Xianyuan. What for? Naturally, she was there to claim the 10,000 low-grade spirit stones. This was no joke. She had been having dreams and could not sleep well the night before. If she did not collect her wins, would she not have wasted a bag of chili powder for nothing? Master Xianyuan. I'm here to collect the spirit stones. Yun Chuzhou shouted happily as soon as she entered the meeting room. Master Xianyuan wanted to tease Yun Chuzhou, so he said, 10,000 spirit stones isn't light. You can't use the storage bag, so I'll keep it for you. Take 100 for now. Yun Chuzhou bared her white teeth. Master, you don't have to worry about that. I've thought about it. I brought my fourth brother. We can put it in his storage bag. However, if our sect is short of money, I can lend you the spirit stones. You can pay me 1,000 spirit stones a month as interest. I'm not greedy. She made everyone speechless, yet again. They just wanted to say that Yun Chuzhou was such a money grubber that they just had to respect her. Chapter 235, The 5 elements were missing. Since you're prepared, then go and get the spirit stones with someone. The corner of Master Xuanyuan's eyes twitched. 1,000 spirit stones of interest per month. Why don't you go and rob instead? All right. If you don't need it, then forget it. If someone else wanted to borrow from me, I would have charged 2,000. Once this ship sails, it'll be hard to come by again. Master Xianyuan waved his hand. I can't afford your spirit stones. Yun Chuzhou hopped around and decided to bring Yun Chuzi along with an elder to collect the 10,000 low-grade spirit stones. Yun Chuzi's storage bag could not hold all of it, so Yun Chuzhou asked Yun Chuzi to bring his own storage bag as well. After much difficulty, she finally stuffed the 10,000 spirit stones into the bags. Yun Chuzi was scared silly by so many sparkling spirit stones. My goodness, has the sect master gone mad? He actually rewarded little Jiao with so many spiritual stones. Yun Chuzi felt that he could not even roam the streets anymore. He was really scared to have such a huge amount of stones on him, afraid that he would be targeted by others. Fourth brother, give me that storage bag. We can't put our eggs in the same basket at the same time. You know, just in case. Yun Chuzhou said with a smile. Yun Chuzi felt that these 2 storage bags with a huge amounts of stones were like hot potatoes. Hearing Yun Chuzhi's words, he hurriedly handed the storage bag to Yun Chuzhou. Yun Chuzhou stuffed the storage bag into her bosom, but in fact, she stuffed it into her storage ring. Then, she hopped back to their respective dorms with Yun Chuzi. When Yun Chuzhou arrived at the dorms, she poured all the spirit stones on the floor of the house and cackled, I'm rich. I'm rich. Master, that's enough. The gigolo has given you more than this, but I've never seen you so happy. Little Black stared at her with his pizzazed eyes. He could not bear to look at her. How can it be the same? He gave it to me as if it was a master sending a servant girl away. I earned this myself. In the future, I'll earn a lot of money and raise a lot of gigolos. Cold, evil, abstinent, Yun Chuzhou sat in the pile of spirit stones and kept talking while counting her fingers. Just as Yun Chuzhou was talking happily, the door was blown to smithereens. When the little black bird saw the person standing outside, it felt that it was really a jinx. Every time its master got into trouble, it seemed to be the one who started the conversation. Master, just say it. Why didn't you say it in your mind? Why did you have to say it out loud? This was not its fault. It asked with its mind. Yun Chuzhou did not need to turn around to know that it was the gigolo. This gigolo was born to be at odds with the door. The 5 elements people usually lacked in were metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, while he was lacking the door. She acted as if nothing had happened. She turned around and smiled at Di Biming, whose face was ashen. Prince Charming, you're here. Are you angry? I did it on purpose. I knew you were outside, so I deliberately angered you. Who asked you to leave for such a long time? I'm going crazy being tortured by lovesickness. So, what you said just now was crazy. Di Biming stared at Yun Chuzhou gloomily. Yun Chujia's heart was beating fast. She did not know how much the gigolo had heard. However, she pretended to be calm. Of course it's crazy. I only took 1 scoop of wine. With you, my Prince Charming, all the other men are eunuchs to me. They're all sissies. They're all just floating clouds. Where's that idiot in red? Di Biming remembered what the voice transmission talisman said, and he was furious. Who's the idiot in red? Yun Chujio really had no clue this time. Humph. It's that idiot in red that you mentioned in your voice transmission talisman. Black thing, you're really capable. I've only left for a short while, and you've already hooked up with another man. Do you take my words that lightly? Di Biming thought that Yun Chujio was playing dumb, and he was so angry that he gritted his teeth. Chapter 236, Whatever. Prince Charming, are you talking about the red-clothed pervert? How can I like him? I wish I could skin him alive. Yun Chujia's face was filled with disgust when she thought of the red-clothed man. Humph. Then why did you say in the voice transmission talisman that the red-clothed man was pretty good-looking? Di Biming had been tormented by those words for the past few days. He could not hold it in any more and hurriedly made some arrangements. He came to find Yun Chujio to settle the score. I did say that, but I also said later that the man was a pervert. He wanted to kill me and take my skull. I almost died. If it wasn't for the jade pendant you gave me, I would have died long ago. Yun Chujio said with an aggrieved look. Di Biming was stunned for a moment before he instantly understood what had happened. He coughed dryly. Black thing, there's a limit to the length the voice transmission talisman can record. You can't record so much info on it. Yun Chujio cried out in shock, what? No wonder you only replied, I won't forgive you after I said so much. I thought you were feeling sorry for the jade pendant because it had a crack. Di Biming was in the wrong and quickly changed the topic. That idiot in red wants your skull. Describe that person to me in detail. That person was dressed in red and was extremely flashy. His spiritual power was very high and he even held a skull in his hand. One look and you could tell that he was a pervert. When he saw me, he said that my skull was good-looking and insisted on killing me to get my skull. Fortunately, I was quick-witted. Otherwise, I definitely wouldn't have been able to meet you, my Prince Charming. Yun Chujio said through gritted teeth. Di Biming was stunned. So it was him. However, although he plays with a skull all day long, according to what I know, it was just a kind of evil fun to scare people. That skull was made of imitation materials and wasn't a real skull. Regardless, there's no need for the black thing to know about this. Di Biming's eyes flashed, and with a serious expression, he said, I know that person. That person is famous for being a pervert. He specialized in collecting human skulls. Regardless of gender, age, as long as it was a skull that he liked, he would kill the person and take the skull for him to play with. If you see him in the future, you must avoid him. Achoo! Achoo! Who is scolding me? I'm tired of living. It might be that stiff-faced Di Biming again. Sooner or later, I'll kill him. Somewhere, the red-clothed man who was playing with a skull sneezed a few times. Seeing how serious Di Biming was, Yun Chujio immediately said pitifully, Prince Charming, then give me something good to save my life. I don't want to die at such a young age. Di Biming snorted, give. I have plenty of good things, but you can only buy them if you want it. Di Biming thought to himself. He could not let her be rich. Otherwise, she would actually want to have a gigolo by her side. That was preposterous. Prince Charming, how many spirit stones is the jade pendant you gave me worth? When Yun Chujio heard that she had to pay, her face immediately twitched. It's not expensive. It's only 5 million high-grade spirit stones. Di Baiming said lightly. How much, how much? F5 million high-grade spirit stones. Yun Chujiu could not believe her ears. Yun Chujiu counted with her fingers. One high-grade spirit stone was equivalent to 100 middle-grade spirit stones, and one middle-grade spirit stone was equivalent to 100 lower-grade spirit stones. 5 million high-grade spirit stones be equivalent to 50 billion lower-grade spirit stones. Yun Chujiu originally thought that she had quite a lot of spirit stones, but she was instantly shocked. Fuck, this bit of spirit stones of hers was not even worth a single cent. Di Baiming looked at Yun Chujiu's shocked little face and said with a smile, the voice transmission talisman I gave you costs 100,000 high-grade spirit stones each, and the concealment talisman costs 500,000 high-grade spirit stones each. Calculate how much money you owe me. Oh, right, every time you eat a meal, a bowl of spiritual rice costs 10 high-grade spirit stones. Yun Chujiu laughed dryly. Prince Charming, didn't you give those things to me? You're not thinking of asking me for money, are you? Yun Chujiu made up her mind in her heart. She would not pay. She did not have the money and was not willing to give her life. Whatever. Di Baiming looked deeply at Yun Chujiu. Forget about the previous ones, but in the future, everything I give you, you have to use spirit stones to buy. If you don't have money, then write an IOU. Chapter 237, No way. Yun Chujiu's face was filled with despair. Using spirit stones to buy it? Pretty Yoi, you're heartless. You drank my blood. Why didn't you use spirit stones to buy it? Although Yun Chujiu was fuming with anger, she did not dare to resist. She only glared fiercely at Little Black, who was trying hard to reduce its presence. Master, this isn't my fault. Who asked you to speak your mind with your mouth? Don't you know that trouble comes from your mouth? Little Black glared at her and tried to explain. Then, it flapped its short wings and slipped out. Yun Chujiu's intestines were about to turn green with regret. Why did she have to speak her mind? This time, the gigolo turned hostile and refused to acknowledge her. He actually wanted money from her. Was this not taking her life? Forget it. There was still time. She did not believe that she could not manage this gigolo. He wanted money. No way. Yes, no way at all. Prince Charming, have you finished your business? Yun Chujiu said as she put the spirit stones on the ground into her storage ring. Even a mosquito's leg was still meat. She did not want the gigolo to snatch it away. It's not finished yet. Di Baiming thought to himself. He had originally come to teach her a lesson, but he realized that he was being petty. How was he going to smooth things over? Idle, I know. Is it because you don't have enough blood? Yun Chujiu saw Di Baiming stammering and thought that he was too embarrassed to admit it. Di Baiming was worried that he did not have an excuse, so he quickly nodded. Yes, that's right. Bring the porcelain bottle, it'll drain some blood right away. Yun Chujiu heard Di Baiming answer and felt a little stifled. It turned out that it was really for her blood. No need, they'll just suck it directly. Di Baiming pricked Yun Chujiu's finger with a silver needle and then put it in his mouth. At first, Yun Chujiu was still indignant in her heart. This damn gigolo is a vampire. He only knows how to drink my blood all day long. Even the cows know how to contribute milk after eating grass. How could you, after drinking my blood, still want my spirit stones? You're really heartless. Slowly, Yun Chujiu's face turned red. Damn gigolo, what are you doing? You're clearly not sucking blood. Fuck. You're taking advantage of me. Yun Chujiu fiercely pulled out her finger and glared at Di Baiming. Just drink enough. If you drink more, you'll die of exhaustion. Di Baiming saw that his little thoughts were exposed, and he said in a threatening tone, Black thing, you're getting bolder and bolder. You actually dare to glare at me. glare. Prince Charming, you're mistaken. I was winking at you. Although Yun Chuzhou wanted to strangle Di Baiming in her heart, she still cowered. Di Baiming was speechless. Prince Charming, when are you leaving? Yun Chuzhou wanted Di Baiming to leave as soon as possible. She felt angry just looking at him. Di Baiming frowned. Why? Are you chasing me away? My Prince Charming, didn't you say that you haven't finished your business? I'm afraid that it'll delay your work. We can't delay work for the sake of our relationship, can we? Yun Chuzhou said righteously. Di Baiming looked at Yun Chuzhou suspiciously and said indifferently, I'll leave tomorrow morning. Leave tomorrow? That's great. Yun Chuzhou suppressed her happiness and said with a bitter face, although I can't bear to part with you, business is more important. My Prince Charming, it's time for dinner. Let's eat. Di Baiming's eyes flashed. He took out exquisite dishes from his storage ring and placed them on the table. Then, he said, I can eat these. You prepare food for yourself. Of course, if you want to eat this, you can buy them with spirit stones. Chapter 238, Get Lost. Yun Chuzhou secretly glanced at the dishes on the table. Damn it, the gigolo must have done this on purpose. Why did he put all my favorite dishes on the table? The steamed white dace fish meat looked tender and delicious. The braised pork ribs were brown in color, fragrant and glutinous. There was also the shrimp. Please make some space for me. I want to put my dishes on the table. Yun Chuzhou said to Di Baiming angrily. Di Baiming smiled. He moved his food and cleared half the table for Yun Chuzhou. Yun Chuzhou took out a plate of fried cabbage and a steamed bun from her storage ring pitifully. However, she mumbled, humph. People should know how to maintain their health. They should eat well in the morning and afternoon, and eat less in the evening. Some people eat really greasy foods so often. They're truly unafraid of indigestion. Di Baiming glanced at her, picked up a piece of fish, and slowly swallowed it. The fish today is not bad. It's sweet and tender, and it's also good for digestion. Yun Chuzhou took a bite of the steamed bun. Sigh, some people should be careful not to get fish bones stuck in their throat. I heard that some people get choked to death by the fish bones. Di Baiming felt an inexplicable itch in his throat, so he picked up a piece of rib. This rib stew is soft and falls off the bone. It really melts in the mouth. Yun Chuzhou's saliva almost flowed out. The moment she looked at the rib, she saw that it looked very tasty. Moreover, it was the rib of a level 8 sword-bristled pig. Hence, the meat was extremely fresh and tender. She swallowed her saliva and said sourly, humph. It's greasy, what's so good about it? Cabbage is still the best. Cabbage, cabbage, the king of all vegetables. Black thing, do you want to try a piece? Di Baiming picked up a piece of rib and asked Yun Chuzhou with a smile. Humph. This young lady could not be corrupted by wealth and prestige nor shaken by poverty. She had the might to not succumb to the dark side, and he wanted to buy her out with ribs. Ugh. Fine. I really want to eat it. What's wrong with that? Do you want payment for it? Yun Chuzhou swallowed her saliva and decided to fall to the dark side. This piece is a gift from me, I don't want money. Di Baiming smiled and placed the rib into Yun Chuzhou's bowl. Yun Chuzhou immediately thanked him with a smile and happily ate the pork ribs. Then, she realized that she had been tricked. If she had not eaten the pork ribs, she would have thought that the stir-fried cabbage in front of her was still edible. However, after eating the pork ribs, she felt that the stir-fried cabbage in front of her was fucking pig's food. She could not even eat a single mouthful. What a sinister gigolo. Yun Chuzhou endured it and asked, Prince Charming, how much is this rib? Black thing, you know that this is the rib of an 8th grade sword-bristled boar. It's also made with various earth-grade spirit herbs, so it's naturally not cheap. Consider this a friendship price. 1 rib for 1 high-grade spirit stone. Di Baiming said indifferently. 1 high-grade spirit stone. Then would that not cost 10,000 lower-grade spirit stones? Fuck. Gigolo, why don't you go rob someone instead? You black-hearted profiteer. Yun Chujio was a foodie and also a money grubber. Upon hearing the price, she immediately gave up on the idea of buying and continued to fiercely chew on the steamed bun. Seeing that Yun Chujio was not going to make a fuss, Di Baiming felt a little regretful. It seemed like the price was high, but he had already reduced the price to its lowest. He did not expect her to be so stingy. Forget it, forget it. Since you're donating blood to this venerable self, they'll give you a cheaper price. 1,000 low-grade spirit stones. 1,000. Too expensive. No. Yun Chujio continued to gnaw on the steamed bun fiercely. 100. If you don't want to buy it, then forget it. I will eat it myself. Di Baiming gritted his teeth. I'll buy it. I'll have this plate of ribs. Yun Chujio snatched the plate of ribs over. Don't play around. There's still some sauce on this. It would taste really good with rice. Don't take advantage of cheap steaks so easily, bastard. Chapter 239, You Can't Be Fooled If You Can't Afford It, Prince Charming, How Much is a Bowl of Rice? After Yun Chujio snatched the plate of ribs and set her eyes on Di Baiming's bowl of rice. Di Baiming felt that the black thing would definitely not be able to accept the original price of 10 high-grade spirit stones, so he said, originally, it's 10 high-grade spirit stones for a bowl, but I feel sorry for you. Forget it, they'll charge you 100 low-grade spirit stones for a bowl. Prince Charming, you're really too kind. Give me 3 bowls. Yun Chujio felt that pork ribs were really compatible with rice. Especially the spirit rice that Di Baiming brought. Every grain was full and translucent, filled with spirit energy. It tasted really great too. 3 bowls. Didn't someone say that one should eat less for dinner? Di Baiming raised his eyebrows. Yun Chujio laughed dryly. An ordinary person should be like that, but my body is still growing, so I need to eat well. Di Baiming looked at Yun Chujio's small body and nodded. That's right, you should take care of it. It's too boring. Yun Chujio was so angry that she almost smashed the plate on Di Baiming's face. Gigolo, do you know that it's easy to lose friends if you talk like that? Yun Chujio handed over the spirit stones and finally began to eat happily. In the end, she licked the plate clean. This was exchanged for spirit stones. A mouthful of soup was worth dozens of spirit stones. After eating, Yun Chujio felt a little regretful. 2,000 spirit stones were gone just like that. Fortunately, the gigolo did not come often. Otherwise, she would have spent all her spirit stones. Black thing, I might not come again. Don't you want to buy more food to eat later? Oh right, I have a lot of spiritual fruits here. Some are sweet and some are soft. After eating them, not only can I satisfy my appetite, but I can also increase my spiritual power and my lifespan. Black thing, I also have some pastries here. I have golden silk rolls, honey bean cakes, silver thread cakes and the like that you like to eat. After Di Baiming presented Yun Chujio with all the food, the spirit stones in her storage ring were almost all gone. In the end, she owed Di Baiming 10,000 low-grade spirit stones. Yun Chujio deeply understood one saying. Impulsiveness was the devil. Di Baiming looked at the freshly baked promissory note in his hand and the corners of his lips curled up. Black thing, let's see what you're going to show off this time and what you're going to use to hook up with a gigolo. Come here, help me massage my shoulder. Di Baiming sat comfortably on the chair. Yun Chujio dawdled and said unwillingly, my idol, my waist and legs are a little sore, and my arm is cramping. Give me a minute. Di Biming glanced at her and said, 1 hour, 1,000 spirit stones. Yun Chujia's waist and legs were no longer sore, and her arm was no longer cramping. She began to massage Di Biming's shoulder eagerly. Idle, is 1,000 spirit stones too low? Raise the price a little. Low. Forget it if you don't want to. Not low. It's not low. Yun Chujio felt that she was really miserable. Not only was her family fortune emptied, she was also in debt. How did she go from a rich woman to a poor woman in less than half a day? Humph. It was all because of the gigolo. If he did not seduce her with delicious food, would she have spent all the spiritual stones on impulse? She had to think of a way to earn the spirit stones back. An hour later, Yun Chujio said eagerly, Prince Charming, do you need to massage your legs? Do you need to massage your head? Do you need to wash your face? Do you need to make the bed? Do you need to take off your clothes? I offer a discount, and the service is very good. I guarantee that you'll be satisfied. Each item only costs 2,000 spirit stones. Only 2,000 spirit stones. You can choose any item you like, and it will cost you 2,000 spirit stones. You will not be at a loss for this 2,000 spirit stones. Chapter 240, Wailing Ghosts and Howling Wolves. Di Biming's face stiffened. He had a strong premonition that not only would he lose the 10,000 spirit stones he was owed, he would also have to fork more spirit stones. Sure enough, Yun Chujio had come up with all sorts of tricks and even came up with a way to sing. However, Di Biming expressed that he really could not appreciate Yun Chujia's singing that sounded like wailing ghosts and howling wolves. He decisively gave a negative evaluation. Not only did he not give her 2,000 spirit stones, but he even deducted 1,000 as compensation for mental damage. Yun Chujio was so angry that she almost vomited blood. What a crafty idiot. She sang and danced continuously. Was it easy for her? Moreover, how good was her horse riding and dancing? How could the song sound like the wailing and howling like a ghost? All right, you deduct 1,000 spirit stones from me. They'll think of a way to cheat you of 2,000. Yun Chujio pretended to massage Di Biming's leg for a while, then stretched out her little claws. 4,000 spirit stones. Thank you for your patronage. Di Biming frowned, isn't it 2,000? 2,000 for one leg, 4,000 for 2 legs. Yun Chujio bared her little white teeth, smiling very proudly. Di Biming gritted his teeth. Very good, black thing. Just you wait. Let's remember this debt. Before going to bed, not only did Yun Chujio pay off her debt, she even earned 5,000 low-grade spirit stones. Yun Chujio pursed her lips happily. Humph. You want to play with me, gigolo? I'll play you to death. She thought about it again. This was not right. After a long time she figured it out. The spirit stones that the pretty boy had given her in the past had all been taken back. Damn it, the 5,000 spirit stones in her hand were originally hers, right? Such a sinister gigolo. The more Yun Chujio thought about it, the angrier she got. She pretended to close her eyes, stretched out her leg, and kicked Di Biming's butt. Di Biming did not expect Yun Chujio to do that. The poor Supreme Emperor was kicked off the bed. Although Di Biming did not fall to the ground the moment he landed, it was enough to make the proud Supreme Emperor fly into a rage. Black thing. Are you seeking death? Yun Chujio opened her eyes in a daze and looked at Di Biming blankly. Prince Charming, why are you standing on the ground instead of sleeping on the bed? Why did you kick me? Di Biming returned to the bed and asked while gritting his teeth. Ah, I dreamt that the red-robed pervert wanted to kill me, so I kicked him off the cliff. In actuality, I kicked you. I'm really sorry. Does it hurt? Let me help you massage it. Yun Chujio stretched out her claws and went straight for Di Biming's buttocks. Di Biming was shocked and quickly stopped her. Stop. A girl actually. How can you be like that? Yun Chujio pouted. Tisk. It's not a tiger's buttocks. Why can't I touch it? Don't bother, I'm going to sleep. Di Biming wanted to scold her, but Yun Chujio had already turned around and fell asleep. Of course, Yun Chujio was pretending to be asleep. Humph. Gigolo, you still want to teach her a lesson? It scared him to death. However, the gigolo's figure was really good. It was a pity that with her small body, she could not do anything bad. Otherwise, she could steal the gigolo's genes and have a baby by herself in the future. Anyway, she did not plan to get married. Yes, she would give birth to a mini gigolo and scold him 8 times a day to get back the anger she had suffered from his father. No, that would be her biological son. She could not bear to do that. Yun Chujio danced with her thoughts and fell asleep soon after. The poor emperor looked at Yun Chujio's pink lips. At that moment, a thought kept flashing through his mind. Should he kiss her? You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.